Cook it. Did you wash your hands? You gonna wash your hands too? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
You're super quiet.
Oh. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
changing. Sometimes it's good.
The system is designed to hold the process accountable.
So Democrat and Republican get in a car together at the end of the night when the polling place closes. They have the sealed ballot box. In that ballot box is a tracker.
Under police escort with
If we go to our fencing map here, some of these key states we see already about 20%.
Hello, everyone. Everyone, congratulations. We have made it to November 5th, 2024. We have made it to the final day where anything that anyone could do to change this election or to change the course of this election, that's all we could do. Personally,
In Ozark, Missouri tonight,
Oh.
Len Jennings with Democratic Challenge.
Personally, I have worked very hard in order to make sure that some of the Democratic races can go as smoothly as possible. And when I say smoothly as possible, result in a win. As you know, in Jackson County, there are many critical races here in the primary, mostly towards Eastern Jack, where we have Robert Saul's race, which I'll talk more in depth about. But in Missouri in general, we have a real chance this year to break the supermajority in our state. So right now in Missouri, there are enough Republicans that are sitting in our state government to make it so that in order for us to if we're able to pass a bill or try to get a bill passed, they can deny it, and we would have to do a filibuster in order for that process to happen. But if we break the supermajority, then we won't have to do that filibuster, and the Republicans would actually have to work with both sides of the aisle. So that's why this race is very critical. Here, I'm going to bring up a document really quickly. Just to show you the main races that I'm talking about. So in this document, these are the main races that we are focusing on in Missouri. These are the races that are going to determine whether or not we're going to end the supermajority in Missouri, both in the Senate and in the House. So right now, currently, there are 24 Republicans sitting in our Senate and 10 Democrats that are sitting in our Senate. And in order to break the supermajority, the Democrats will not only have to hold all 10 seats, but they will need to flip 2 seats to the Democratic Party. And in the House, the Republicans right now hold 111 seats, and the Democrats hold 52. And in order to end that supermajority in the House, we would have to flip 3 seats in the House. We are this close to breaking the supermajority in Missouri. And so what that would look like is the Republicans would only win 108 seats in their House, and the Democrats will reach that much needed 55 seats. So the races that we're specifically looking to in this race is Senate District 11, which is Robbie Sauls and Joe Nicola seat. This is a seat in Jackson County, and the reason why this seat's going to be a very difficult seat to attain is because of the fact that this is in Eastern Jack. In Eastern Jack, there's more conservative Republican voters. But the good thing about Robert Sauls is that Robert Sauls appeals to a lot of Republican voters because of his background. He's an attorney, he's a veteran, and he honestly is a very nice person and very caring. I've known Robbie now for over 10 years. He's my colleague. I'm also an attorney. and he is one of the most down-to-earth, caring guys that I've ever met. And I say this as an attorney, right? Because attorneys usually have that stereotype of being a little bit cold, having a cold demeanor. But Robbie is nothing like that, and he would make a fine state senator. But this is going to be a very, very hard seat for him to win. This seat previously was held by a Democrat, but because of the gerrymandering that our state has done in this region, it's going to be much harder for a Democrat to hold that seat because the redrawing of the lines made this area more conservative. And so today, I actually went out and helped Robbie poll for 4 hours in this area, and the turnout was great. A lot of people came there to vote for Robbie. They never said whether they were affiliated with the Democrats or the Republicans. They just said that they were here for Robbie, which is going to be a very, I think is a very positive sign that Robbie will be able to win. But like I said, it's going to be a hard race. In the Democratic primary, Robbie was the only Democrat running in that primary, and he won around 9,700 votes. But Joe Nicola was running against 3 people, and he won with around like 6,000-ish votes, but he was running against 3 people, and that Republican primary had a total of 12,000 votes. So that's why I'm saying this is going to be a very hard seat for Robert to win, even though he has a great reputation. He's been state representative for numerous years past, but this is going to be one of the most difficult races for the Democrats to hold on to this seat. The next seat that we're going to be looking at in depth is Senate District 15, and I'm just going to go over this list right now. Senate District 15, which is Joe Perellas and David Gregory. Senate District 17, Maggie Nurabin and Jerry Nolte. And this specific district is in the North Kansas City district. House 17, Shirley Mata and Bill Allen. And this district is also north of the river. House District, or in the Kansas City area. House District 17, sorry, I already said Shirley Mata and Bill Allen. House District 34, Kemp Strickler and J.C. Crossley. This is another race that is in Jackson County right now. That Kemp Strickler, he won his House seat in 2022 by I believe a 42 vote margin. Okay, Kemp Strickler's district is in Lee Summit, Missouri area, so that's basically the southern portion of Jackson County, and this is going to be another difficult race for him to win because his opponent J.C. Crossley was the person that lost that seat in 2022, so he's actually trying to regain that seat in this race, which Kemp won by only 42 votes. Next, we have Leslie Darrington versus Brad Kreis in House District 96. House District 11, Colin Levitt and Philip Oleking. House District 11, or House District 101, Jacqueline Cotton and Ben Keithley. And finally, House District 105, Stephanie Hine and Jim Robinette. So in those House districts, again, what we need to see is we need to not only hold on to the 52 seats that we have, but we need to flip 3. If we're able to break the supermajority, this is overall going to be a win for the Democratic Party in Missouri. Even though it doesn't seem like that much, this is going to be a big deal because in 2016, we lost a lot of our Democratic seats due to the Trump red wave that occurred. And hopefully, what we'll see in this election is not only a pickup of more seats, both House and Senate, but I am hoping that we will win statewide seats, and we're going to go into the statewide elections as well. But if we're able to pick up, if the Democrats are able to pick up one statewide seat, this will be an immense victory for the Democratic Party in Missouri. So, hold on a second. Now, I also prepared another list that we need to look at, which is called the critical questions list. The critical questions list is basically the constitutional amendments and the Proposition A question that we voted on today in today's election. As a quick summary, Proposition A is not a constitutional question. It's basically changing a statutory law, and the constitutional amendments questions are all amendments to our Constitution. Now, if we look quickly, I'm going to go over these quickly, and if anybody wants any more explanation over these amendments, please let me know in the comment section. But we start with Amendment 2, which is legalize sports betting. And this question is basically asking the Missouri public if we're going to legalize online sports betting, with the promise that they would provide 10% of the profits to our education system, which, you know, people, if you did your own research, that isn't a real promise. But a lot of people are saying that this might pass just because so many people want to have the ability to do online betting in Missouri. So this question might pass. Amendment 3 is the most important and most publicized question in Missouri, and that is the in Missouri ban on abortion. If you can see, I'm wearing the shirt in Missouri abortion ban. I've been helping Missourians for constitutional freedom and abortion access to help not only get this question on the ballot this year, but to ultimately encourage voters in my area to vote yes on this amendment, because a lot of women in our area know how critical this question is. Because right now in Missouri, we are the only state in the United States that has a complete abortion ban. This means that a person cannot legally get an abortion in Missouri unless the woman's health is at risk, which is an asterisk, okay? Because the real fact about this abortion ban is that women have died in Missouri from this abortion ban because doctors don't want to be in a situation where they provide a woman an abortion that potentially would save her life, for the fear that the AG would come after him, come after the doctor, him or her, for criminal prosecution. And so what happens is when a woman needs an abortion due to the fact that the pregnancy is, there's something wrong with the pregnancy, doctors will usually decline to perform any life-saving procedure on that woman in fear of being prosecuted. This is why, right, and also I'm going to say too is the Missouri abortion ban is really more about, is really a question about women's health care. It's asking the people, the Missourians, to put the power of women's health care back in the individual's hands. Because right now, a woman doesn't have any control of her body or control of her health care decisions when it comes to a pregnancy in Missouri. And this is a question, basically, a question given to Missourians as to whether or not a woman should have absolute bodily autonomy over her medical decisions. I'm 100% in support of Amendment 3. Anybody who knows me knows this, and I honestly think it's going to pass. I think it's going to pass 60%. People are making the predictions that it's going to pass 57%, but I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that question. The next is Amendment 5, which Amendment 5 is I call it the Ozark casino boat question, but I should title it the Osage River casino boat question, but I entitle it the Ozark casino boat question because more people are familiar where the Lake of the Ozarks are compared to the Osage River. And so this is basically a question as to there's an Indian nation, the Osage Nation, has basically brought forth this question asking the Missouri voters to grant them a license in order to have a casino boat built on their premises. And so Amendment 5 is basically giving them that right to not only build a casino, but they would also build a convention center and a hotel. Amendment 6 is the court fees question, which I think it's going to fail, period. This is kind of crazy. This question is basically going to change our Missouri Constitution, basically taking a portion of our Constitution which states, and I'm stating this in layman terminology, that that basically judicial like when a judicial administration does something, there can be no financial influence for that, right? And this is going to amend that constitution, or that constitutional language, to allow that to occur. And what I mean for this is this if this Amendment 6 passes, it's going to allow the judicial system, whether it be the sheriff or the courts, to allow court fees on top of court costs to pay for enhancements. And when I say enhancements, I mean pensions, retirement, or whatnot. The reason why this question is on the ballot is because in 2021, the Missourian sheriff retirement systems, they were sued by two plaintiffs for charging them $3 on their speeding ticket. And the attorneys argue that this was a violation of their constitutional rights because they shouldn't have been charging them the $3 because the retirement services fees were not needed in order for judicial administration to occur, but was an enhancement to judicial administration. And the Supreme Court agreed with them. And that is why this question is on today. We are going to look at the results to see if it's going to pass. I think it's going to fail. We'll see. Next is Amendment 7, which I have labeled the ban on ranked choice voting question. And that is actually, like, this question is kind of ridiculous. It should never have been on the ballot in the first place. But if you actually read everybody have read the ballot language already because we've already voted on this. But on the first portion of the question, it asks Missouri voters whether United States citizens and Missouri citizens should be the only ones to vote in an election, which that's already the law. Then it goes into the ranked choice voting. But this essentially is a ban on ranked choice voting. I don't think it's going to pass, but we'll see how the results trickle in to see how Missourians feel on this way. And honestly, as an attorney reading through this, if it does pass, it's going to be challenged in court for for the constitutionality of it, which I think it's going to be ultimately reversed because the question is confusing in its construction. And finally, the Proposition A question, which is basically the increase the minimum wage and to make paid sick leave state law. I think Proposition A is going to pass with flying colors. And with that note, I also want to say this, is that Missouri essentially, when we vote on constitutional amendments, we are actually a very democratic state. If you see our past trends, we've always passed Proposition A's when it comes to raising the minimum wage. We're going to pass, hopefully, Amendment 3 with flying colors. But if you look at the election at large, we are still regarded as a very conservative state. I think that this year, that this election in Missouri is actually going to surprise a lot of people. And what I mean by that is I have never seen so much fervor for a Democratic candidate as I've seen for Kamala Harris in Missouri. And I'm going to give an example of this. So this whole entire election cycle, I've been helping the Democratic Party by volunteering at their booths and also by door knocking and collecting signatures for ballot measures. When I was volunteering for this Democratic organization called United Eastern Democrats, we were at Santa Calagon in Independence, which is a blue area in Jackson County, but it also has its conservative parts, and Santa Calagon kind of brings a lot of Eastern Jack residents there, so it's more conservative county fare than liberal county fare. But when we had our table, we had such an amazing outreach there. There were hundreds of people that came to our table wanting to buy merch for Kamala. Like, they wanted to buy Kamala Harris merch. They wanted to get yard signs of all of our local candidates. They wanted to know about what was going on locally, and they were very interested in supporting the Democratic cause. And people who have been living in Independence for over 60 years have all remarked that they've never seen this amount of fervor in Eastern Jack in their entire lifetimes. This is why I think that this election in Missouri is truly going to be special. I want to say one for the history books, but we shall see. I think it would be an amazing win for the Democratic Party if we not only passed Amendment 3, but also in the supermajority and won a statewide seat. But we shall see. Now, finally, I have the last document that I've prepared, which are the critical main races that we are going to focus on in this election watch party. Of course, the first critical main race is going to be the Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump race. Obviously, this is the national race. All polls indicate that Missouri will turn red this year, but the question is how conservative are the votes going to be? I personally think that this is going to be a close election in Missouri, but we shall see. Next is the governor's race, which is Crystal Quade and Mike Kehoe. So Crystal Quade, she's the minority leader in the House of Representatives currently in Missouri. If you've ever heard Crystal Quade speak, you know that she is this talented lady. She has the gift of gab. Her speeches are eloquent, and I heard that she doesn't even prepare her speeches, that she's just able to have an amazing, like she has this amazing impromptu speech talent. And I wish people, and when I say people, I mean the general public, gave Crystal Quade a more serious lens, because Crystal, she comes from a middle class small town background where her mother was a waitress. She's very humble. She really cares about the rural issues, and she really cares about the working class issues. And I think she would make a fantastic governor. But we also have Mike Kehoe, which Mike Kehoe, I've heard a lot of moderate Republicans like him, and he's most likely going to win. Win by how much? I don't know, but we'll see in this race. The next critical race that we're going to be looking at, and also observing the media surrounding it, is going to be the Lucas Kunce and Josh Hawley race. Where do I even start with this race? So, for people that know or people that don't know, Josh Hawley is our current senator in Missouri. And I wish that people would honestly just look at Josh Hawley and just look at what he's done for Missouri, and then think to themselves, is this person really the best person for to be a senator in general for Missouri? Because if we're going to keep everything 100, let's keep it 100. When Roy Blunt was senator, and Roy Blunt was a Republican senator from Missouri, when Roy Blunt was a senator, every year he brought in $300 to $300 million into the state of Missouri. Every year. Can anybody let me know how much money Josh Hawley has actually brought into the state of Missouri since he's been senator for the last 6 years? The answer is zero. He's brought in $0. $0. Okay? Not 1 cent to the state of Missouri. And that is a huge concern. A huge concern. Because that not only disenfranchises our state from millions of federal dollars, but that hurts our rural communities, because this year alone we have lost 18 rural hospitals. 18 rural hospitals. And these hospitals could have been saved if we were able to get federal funds in. But Josh Hawley, he's just been this terrible senator, and I wish people would just keep it real. Just keep it real, and we could just get rid of Josh Hawley. But because he has that R to his name, he might win, which is frustrating, but that's just how our reality is. When we go to our next main race, it's Elad Gross versus Andrew Bailey. And this race right here, the Missouri Attorney General race, I believe is our best chance in order to get a statewide position. Right now, Andrew Bailey is very vulnerable because, like Josh Hawley, he has been terrible for the state of Missouri. And the reason why he's been terrible is he hasn't won any significant cases in Missouri. When it came to the Jackson County property tax crisis case, which the Jackson County government admitted that they violated the law, it had to be dismissed, not because of the merits of the case, but because Josh Hawley violated the rules of professional conduct, and the judge ordered for him to do a simple deposition, and he refused to do it, and instead of doing that simple deposition, he dismissed the case, thus leaving hundreds of thousands of Jackson County property owners unable to seek justice for the 23 property tax crisis. We just need a better attorney general. And like I said, we just need to be more honest. Like if Missourians were honest, with people, then we would, then ELAD would have it in the break, or in the bag. But we are getting our first results here. Hold on a second. From Jackson County. Let's see what's going on here. So, right now, Jackson County is reporting that right now, 19% of the vote is in. 21,000 votes for Kamala Harris, 17,000 votes for Donald Trump, and 109 votes for Jill Stein and 180 votes for Chase Oliver, meaning that right now, with 19% of the vote in, Kamala Harris has a 52% lead in Kansas City. Perry County is also reporting in right now with 76% for Donald Trump at 1,939 votes, and Kamala Harris for 576 votes, and that's 26% in. I'm going to now go to the local news to see what they're talking about. We're first going to check in with the St. Louis, their local news station, which is KSDK, to see what they are saying about the election.
Or is this going to be, a traditional election? Also, are those young men breaking for Trump that we've kind of seen some hints of? So I think there's a lot to watch for tonight.
All right, let's check in with Senator Bill Eigel across at our panel. Donald Trump really courted the Joe Rogan, the Elon Musk, the bro vote. How did that strategy play out, do you think? Was it effective? We know that young men traditionally haven't been very high propensity, high turnout voters. Is that message, is that strategy working for Republicans?
Yeah, according to the votes coming in, it's worked real well. In fact, I stand by, it looks like my prediction of more than 300 electoral votes by the end of the night is panning out. We're even seeing, according to the board there, some movement.
Okay, so just to let you know, Bill Eigel, he lost the Republican primary for governor. And so take everything he says with a grain of salt, because he was kind of crazy. He wanted to end, he wanted to preclude funding to the Department of Education to Missouri, and have Missouri's education self-funded, which right now we're number 5 in the United States for the lowest paid teachers, right? Even though we have an $8 billion surplus in the state, but I'm going to unmute it.
Lead, just changing the N to a D. So if a state is leading, look, it might be early, right? So it could be early in a state. That's why you see Virginia, as the senator mentioned, shaded a light color of red there, just as Texas is, as Ohio shaded blue. We're getting these early returns. Some states pre-tabulate their mail ballots that have come in throughout the week, and then they just calculate those and spit them out. That could be 20% or more of all the ballots in that state. That might be one of the reasons you see that shade. You also see the shade there.
Hi,
for
Becca.
New Hampshire.
Becca asked, how depressed should I be? Don't be depressed yet. This is not the time to be depressed. We are just at the beginning. We are just at the beginning. The major cities still haven't come in to play. And so this is just, right now, the rural area votes are the easiest ones to count. Sorry, hold on a second. The rural area votes are the ones that are the easiest one to count, because they don't have much volume. And like I said, we are just right now in the beginning stages. This is how all the elections look like to be. We should be worried when it comes to 9 p.m., 10 p.m. if the results are still trending like this. But please do not start worrying right now. But if these results are like what we see right now, around 9 to 10 o'clock, that's when we should be panicked. But it's only good vibes here. It's only good vibes here. So let's see.
For Missouri, but also I think that women are going to speak loud in this election, and I think that's going to pull better for Harris, and I really do believe that Harris is going to be able to pull this election out. And when you also look at the things that have been on the ballot before in Missouri, just think about all the initiative petitions that have been on the ballot. When you come Medicaid expansion, Clean Missouri.
Okay, I want you guys to really take a notice that Hawley right now is 50% with Lucas Counts right now. And we only have the results on some of the counties that are more conservative than others, okay? This is massive, okay? So remember, we're just in the beginning of this, but right now we're on alert. There could be an upset in the Senate race in the Lucas Counts versus Josh Hawley race. But we're at the beginning stages, so don't get excited. But that is massive that Josh Hawley right now is at 50% with Lucas Counts, okay? So let's just continue watching.
All the scrutiny in 2020. A lot of those states took some changes and implemented some new things. We'll dig into that. Anita Mannion will help us do it. But Jeff Smith, you've waited around, watched results come in on election nights. I know that KSDK brought you guys a gift bag when you walked in here. Was there a paper bag in there for anybody who's maybe hyperventilating just to bring the nerves down? Should we bring those out or have them ready? How you feeling, Jeff?
I'm very nervous about the presidential race.
Yeah.
What gives you those nerves?
You know, you're seeing, I think ultimately Kamala Harris will win Virginia, but you're seeing Virginia be a little, I think, closer than a lot of Democrats anticipated. Anytime you've got a race, there's 7 battleground states, right? And anytime one of the states that wasn't one of the 7 battleground states and was expected to be in your party's column, but is seen by the, data guys as too close to call, you get a little bit nervous about, does that have broader implications nationally? So I think there's anxiety on, Democrats tend to be a little more nervous. We call ourselves the bedwetters during election time. And so I think, seeing
Democrats are not the bedwetters. This guy is just, this guy needs to calm down. Like, we are the stone. We are the people. We are the people in the dirt that are trying to make the grass grow in this state, okay? We are not the bedwetters. If anything, the Republicans are the bedwetters right now.
That suburban voters are looking for in a president. After what we saw in 2016, then there was the pandemic in 2020, now here we are 4 years later. What is it that the suburban voter is looking for in the White House?
I'm not really sure, and I think we won't know until we know the results. The two campaigns are the messages are just so vastly different, and we just don't know what voters, which of those two they want.
Yeah, I think suburban voters are looking for normalcy, and they're looking to end the chaos of Donald Trump being in public life. So I think you're seeing one thing you're seeing in a lot of places around the country is the suburban woman vote breaking hard against Trump, and I think that's that Haley electorate that was stubbornly, even after the primaries were essentially over, 15 to 20% of Republican voters in state after state continued voting for Nikki Haley, and I think that means something.
Right, and I want to get to you, Senator Eigel, on that in just a minute. But just for our viewers that are watching, there are hundreds of journalists embedded in exit polling.
So I got a question again from Becca S. She asks, any early results on Amendment 3? Right now, Amendment 3 is killing it. So we right now, and like I said, these are the more of the rural area votes that are being tabulated right now. Right now, we have 28,496 yes votes for Amendment 3 and 22,646 no votes, meaning that right now the Amendment 3 question is winning by 55.7% of the vote. and the no vote only has 44.3% of the vote.
This break, we're going to show you some results. We're going to have a lot more conversation. I'm being told we're going to check in on these results.
Man, they're being messy. Here, let's while they're coming back, let's go over to KMBC and see what they are reporting right now.
Was not seriously hurt, but it was an embarrassing moment for the campaign. Kuntz's efforts to rely on his background of growing up in a low-income family,
like I said, this is upset alert.
Marine Corps,
right now,
really
conservative counties are reporting, and it is a virtual tie right now,
Democrats
with Josh Hawley only winning by 800 votes.
To support tighter border
controls, upset alert on the Missouri Senate race.
Never admitted that he might vote for the head of his party for president, Kamala Harris. Now, Kuntz has raised enough money to stay in the race, but he's running in a state that Donald Trump has easily won tonight. And this one never, Laura and Chris, ever seemed to really be in the cards for Lance Kuntz. Lucas Kuntz.
At the end of the day, last time I checked, it's still
Lucas
Missouri.
Kuntz.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael, thanks.
Right.
All right, this is shaping up to be the most closely watched presidential
Whether it's
election.
the race for president, governor, Congress, or hundreds of other hotly contested races in your community, we've got just the ticket for you to track the races on your ticket. Let's start with the presidential race. It's important to remember we don't have a big national election for president.
Okay, I'm pausing this because this isn't a live. This isn't reporting on the live results right now. But right now even though we have 1% of the results in Missouri, the majority of them have been in the conservative districts. And I'm going to bring up this map again. Hold on a second. I need to move this up. To right here. See, this is the map that we're dealing with now. And so right now, if you see, it's only 1% or 2% reporting right now. But the majority of the counties that are reporting right now are the conservative counties. And it's a virtual tie between Lucas Kuntz and Josh Hawley. Like, Josh Hawley right now should be 60 points ahead of Lucas Kuntz. So that's why I'm saying there is an upset alert right now. Let's go down here and see what's going on in the Senate race. Oh, it updated. So right now there's 2%. So like I said, it's right now Josh Hawley is leading Lucas Kuntz by 55%. This is what we're expecting because like I told you, most of the conservative areas are reporting right now in Missouri, and Kansas City proper hasn't reported yet. St. Louis County hasn't reported yet. Not Jefferson City, Columbia hasn't reported yet, and more importantly, Springfield hasn't reported yet. And one thing I haven't really discussed is Greene County. And Greene County is the county that Springfield is located in. That's been overlooked for many years. There is a chance that Greene County might actually go blue this year. And if Greene County goes blue this year, that means in the future we will be more on the cusp of returning Missouri back to blue. And so that's one of the counties we have to really look into is Springfield. Is Greene County going to turn Democrat this year? Because if it is, that's a signal for more Democratic, for a Democratic wave or a bigger Democratic wave in the future to come. Okay, I think they're both. And so I'm only going to show local news stations. I might start showing some national if the local news stations are kind of like a little bit wonky with their presentation. So hold on a second. So Becca asked, might these be early votes that favor women and Democrats? In the rural counties, perhaps in the rural counties. But like I said, the primarily Democratic areas in Missouri, which is the areas around St. Louis, the areas around Columbia, the areas around Kansas City, and the areas around Springfield, they haven't reported yet. And those are where the majority of the population lives in Missouri. And so right now, we are basically just waiting on those results, because that's ultimately going to tell us what's going on in this
in the Missouri 4th District congressional race, the incumbent Mark Alford, who is the favorite to win, going away in this race, and he is on the way to what is probably most people will consider to be a big win tonight, which is even with 4% of the vote, but he has already 65% support in the Missouri 4th. As we move to the 5th District.
This isn't a big win. It was expected.
After an 11th term in the House with just 8% of the vote, but he has an early lead. Now let's go to north of the river. Sam Graves, who is the longtime congressman in North Missouri and another prohibitive favorite tonight, and with just 5% of the vote, but he has almost 70% support tonight.
I want to go to Andy Alcock, who is in Overland Park, and he is covering the Johnson County Sheriff's.
Okay, I'll say this with the Cleaver race. So if the Republicans are able to get over 40% of the vote in the Cleaver race, that's going to be a massive win for them, because over the years, Cleaver's opponent has been this politician named Jacob Turk, and he was never able to pass the 40% threshold. But if Sean Smith is able to get over 40% against Emanuel Cleaver and his Democratic stronghold, that's going to be a massive win for Sean Smith, even if he ultimately loses the race. So, like I said, when we're looking at this race, we have to look at it holistically to see where the trends are going. I personally, from what I've witnessed in Missouri, I'm still of the position that we're going to see a big Democratic shift in Missouri, and I'm hoping that my feeling is correct. But this isn't the time to worry. We just need to wait until more of the results roll in to gauge where we are in this election.
On several big races in Missouri and Illinois tonight. We're getting results in for the Missouri governor. You can see these are really early votes, but that's Proposition A, the minimum wage. Right now, the no's we're behind. Now we're moving on to the Illinois question, number 1, civil penalties elections.
So we're watching KSDK, which is
meeting
the
up
St.
with what we
Louis
were talking
News
about,
right
but we
now.
do have team coverage tonight about the Senate campaign in Missouri. So let's start with Brent Solomon, who's
I'm
with
saying
the
the
Hawley
Senate
camp
race
in Ozark, Missouri.
is close. It's too close.
It is a great day to save our country. That's what Senator Hawley tweeted this morning when he went to vote for himself at the polls. And take a look at all of the people right here in Ozark,
Yeah, Amendment 3
Missouri.
is
They also
smashing it right now,
voted for
with
the senator because
54%
they say he is the
leading.
best man to represent Missouri and Washington. The stage is all set for a speech that will happen any moment now. It will either be a victory speech or one to concede. We'll be watching live.
Meanwhile, his challenger Democrat Lucas Kunce is holding an election party in Kansas City. Our Robert Townsend is there with the latest. Robert.
Hey there, Mike. I can tell you this, the energy and enthusiasm has definitely ramped up here inside this IBEW in Kansas City. More folks are still filing in as I talk to you even right now.
Oh, just as a side note,
wanting all of these supporters to just rally for Mr. Coons and eat lots of pizza and soda
building
here.
that they're
of course,
in
these folks are going to be watching the
very
results come in all
huge
night
and it's
long.
beautiful.
They're
Like,
hoping
if you ever
Coons
go there,
can make history.
they have
we'll be
these
watching
massive
the race as well.
statues of
Mike,
our
back to you.
former presidents
All right,
there.
Robert,
That's
thank
just
you.
amazing.
Several amendments
So
are also on the Missouri
if
ballot
you've never been there
this
before,
year. That
I would
includes Amendment
encourage you guys
3,
to
which
go.
would legalize abortion in the state. And you can see just 1%
We are killing
reporting,
it.
and the
29,604 yes
outpacing the
votes
no votes,
compared to
54 to
25,104
We're also getting results for the race for Missouri
no,
governor,
which
Republican
these
Mike
are
Keogh
primarily
challenging
in
Democrat Crystal
conservative
Quaid.
areas right
Right now, Mike Keogh with a big lead. Again, it's still very early.
So
just 1%
this is what I'm telling
Crystal
everybody to
Quaid
take note
with
of. The Mike
40%
Kehoe,
of the
this
vote.
is what Josh Hawley
Stick with
should
5
be
on your
like
side
right
and
now,
NBC
but
News
he's
tonight
not.
as the results continue to
So
come in.
this
and
is
we'll have another update
there might
in
be an
about
upset
an
in
hour.
the Senate race.
Oh. 40%, so we'll keep an eye on
Yeah,
that,
Sharice
but that
Davids
is
was
with more
always
than
going to
half of
win
the
this
votes
race.
counted.
The Missouri U.S. Senate race, as we continue to track this one, still early in the counting with just 2% of the vote in statewide, but Josh Hawley, the incumbent, with a 12-point lead over the challenger, Lucas Coons.
All right, and
Yeah,
before we
upset
head to
alert,
break, we
upset
want to
alert.
give you some more boards to take a look at.
Yeah, upset alert in the Senate race. Hawley should be up there with Mike Kehoe. The fact that Mike Kehoe right now is winning this by 60% and Josh Hawley right now only has a 55% lead, and these are in the rural areas of Missouri, okay? The very conservative parts. That means that Coons is picking up, like either Coons is picking up some of those moderate Republicans that are just sick of Hawley, or those Republicans are not voting for Hawley. So this is an upset alert. So I'm just gonna swing back over to here until the news comes back on. And so right now, see, Josh Hawley is getting more of a lead because more of the conservative areas are reporting in. As I said, St. Louis County hasn't reported in yet. Columbia hasn't reported in yet, and more importantly, Springfield has not reported in yet, and Kansas City proper has not reported in yet. And I say that because in Jackson County, there's over 100,000 votes that are cast in this race. I probably, like, you know, like that, like this is not near as what the totals are. So right now, only 20% of the vote totals are in. But in Jackson County, Lucas Coons, and this is I'm just speculating right now. The totals that are in are from the Eastern Jack area, and the Eastern Jack area has Lucas Coons over Josh Hawley by 43%. This does not include Kansas City, like the entirety of Kansas City proper yet. So this is pretty good. Let's go over here. Pettis County. See where Josh Hawley has a significant lead, right? Josh Hawley's beating Lucas Coons by 40 points there. So Pettis County has 50% of their vote in. Camden has 8% in. Lincoln has 38% in. Perry has 25% in, and Dunklin has 42% in. But like I said, St. Louis, Columbia, Kansas City proper haven't reported yet. So we still have a long night to go, people. A long night to go. Let's see if we... Yeah, let's see what's going on in the Crystal Quade race. So, interesting enough, it states here on this page that the Jackson County results for governor haven't reported in yet. I don't know why, but they're not reporting that with the final totals in yet. But what we're seeing right now, which is what's being used in these news stations, are from Ray County, Pettis County, Camden County, Lincoln County, Perry, and Dunklin County, which are primarily conservative county areas. So this is not the time to panic. This is only the beginning, okay? But when it comes, usually all the Jackson County results are in by 8:42 p.m. So we have a long night ahead of us, folks. But, you know, if I was Lucas Kunce, I honestly would be feeling not relieved, but I would be feeling like, oh my gosh, I have a chance. I have a chance. It really depends on, did St. Louis County get out to vote? And I'm going to actually have a little mini rant about this, okay? So, you know me, I love Democrats. I've always been a Democrat. I was born in a Democratic household. But man, I wish that the main players in our Democratic Party in Kansas City were more involved in getting the vote out. Because right now, the mayor of Kansas City doesn't do anything in Kansas City to get the vote out. And the county executive, Frank White, doesn't do anything to get the vote out. We could, if the leaders of our party actually tried, okay, this is good news. Sports betting right now is losing, right now losing in Missouri, which I support because I'm against the sports betting question. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm going to transition. So, Amendment 7 right now in the conservative areas is winning. So Amendment 7 is the ban ranked choice voting question, and it's winning by 71% of the vote right now, which is crazy.
From Missouri Amendment 2, which, if approved, would legalize sports betting in the Show Me state. With just 1% of the vote, the noes have it so far, but it's early.
Jumping state lines
to the Kansas
This is too
District
early,
3
everybody.
with
59% of the vote counted. Sharice Davids has 56% of the vote, and Prasanth Reddy, an oncologist who's running in this race on the Republican ticket, has 41%. Stay with us on KCWE. We will continue to have election results in just a moment.
This is too early. This is too early. We only have 1% of the vote in. It's too early, everybody.
Welcome back to Decision 2024 election night here in St. Louis at the KSDK studios. I'm Mark Maxwell, our political editor here. With the big map, we've got all these battleground states. You see the yellow surrounding the border of North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada. None of those states are decided yet. You see Donald Trump right now has a lead in North Carolina and in Georgia. Should he maintain that lead in the South, narrows the path to victory for Kamala Harris. She would need to win in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin to
Kansas
defend
is
the
blue.
Democratic control of the White
There's
House.
only
Let's go ahead and
probably
take a look
1
at
to 2%
where
of
things
voted, but
stand
Kansas
in
is
these
blue
key
right now,
states. We'll give you the
folks.
vote totals. Of course, Arizona, polls don't close there just yet. The vote's still coming in. In Georgia, where polls have closed, Donald Trump with a 178,000 vote lead at the time, and about 2/3 of the vote is counted and reported. But you look at Michigan, just about 8% of the vote in so far, very early in Michigan. Kamala Harris with an early lead there. We'll keep scrolling. North Carolina, about 1/4 of the vote in. Donald Trump up 155,000 votes. But in Pennsylvania, that's a big lead for Kamala Harris. 334,000 vote lead, just 15% of vote in. We expect to see the polls close any second now in Wisconsin, in Arizona, and in, in those Rust Belt states. So we're going to check in now with our panel. They've been with us all night. Thanks for coming, all you guys. It's good to have you. All right, let's switch gears. We've been talking about the presidential race, but you guys know Missouri. And I love that we have the diversity of thought here.
If they know Missouri, why do you have Bill Eagle or Eigel on?
Makeup of Missouri. So what are we watching for? Let's go around the table, and I want some predictions from you, okay? Polls have been closed here in Missouri for about an hour. So which will be the closest statewide race in Missouri, Jeff Smith?
I think the closest statewide race will be Amendment 2, sports betting.
Sports betting. Senator Eigel, the closest race?
I think the closest statewide race will be Amendment 3. But I'm optimistic that Amendment 3, after
See, this is what I'm talking about. Bill Eigel should not be on the board, okay? He is so far removed from normalcy.
You think it'll be a nail biter?
I think we're going to pull it out, though.
And Lynn Schmidt?
I agree. I think it's going to be Amendment 3.
Okay, so let's
Amendment 3 is not going to be close.
They got all the egos and all the money invested in this. Let's talk about the issues of sports betting first and foremost. Senator May, where are you on the idea of legalizing sports betting? Set aside where the money goes for now. Just thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you like sports betting?
I mean, I don't gamble, so to me,
not for you.
It's whatever the constituency want to do. I think that the other surrounding states, have already passed it, and Missourians are going over there to do it. You're not going to prevent people from doing what they want to do.
Prohibitions don't work.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm not for gambling, but if it passes, I won't lose any sleep.
Senator Eigel, you wanted to get rid of the state's income tax. Could Missouri use the extra revenue?
He wanted to get rid of the state's income tax. Like, why do they have this guy on?
I'll tell you what. That's right.
They don't
I plugged personal property tax. We're getting rid of that tax. But I tell you what, I don't gamble either, and it happens to be a plank in the Republican platform that we oppose. An expansion of gambling. So I'm glad to hear that my colleague Senator May is endorsing some of the planks in the Republican GOP platform. I think that really Amendment 2 is a huge giveaway to the sports teams in this state. I personally am insulted by these commercials that have come out saying that this is about education and getting more funding to education, because we have plenty of money in Jefferson City to do all the things that we need to do in education. This is a giveaway to very powerful.
Oh my gosh, man, Bill Eigel.
I think it's probably one of the least important things that we should be talking about as far as the future of our state.
Jeff Smith, how do you grade the strategy of industry, the sports teams that put together a lot of the messaging here? We saw some popular athletes, Ozzie Smith and others, get behind it, say this is all about education. We saw some teachers on our TV
Becca,
screens
we're still at the beginning, okay?
Classroom.
Like I said, when it comes to 9 or 10 p.m.,
campaign.
The results at 10 p.m., that is when we need to panic, okay? And just for everybody knows, Becca says New York Times needle is pointing towards Trump. Look,
you can say that all you want.
Let's wait until 10 p.m. because that's when we'll know approximately like where Pennsylvania is kind of during that time, and just let the results roll in. And also, that's when we'll know officially what the Missouri results are, at least what the results are in Jackson County.
I think voters are a little skeptical about that, and so that's why I think it is going to be very close but narrowly fail.
And Lynn Schmidt, you said that the Amendment 3, the abortion question, is something you're watching most closely. We're pulling up the map of Missouri here. This is the presidential election race. Again, early results coming in. You're seeing Kamala Harris with an early lead in Missouri. Most of that is because of St. Louis County right here. You're seeing that 65%. But let's go back.
See, what I'm telling you right now is Kamala Harris is technically leading Missouri right now.
Early. But look here, 61% right now with about 41,000 votes separating the two, the yes and the no campaigns. But look here in Pettis County, we've got 58% reporting there. If we go to the heat map here, it gives you a little bit of an indication. of where things are, but we're just sort of getting our first glimpse at
We
where
don't have
Amendment 3
Columbia,
sits
and we
in Missouri. Let's go back to
do
the
not
statewide
have
totals. There's a
St.
long
Louis
way to go
City.
here, right? But Senator Eigel, if this
Or Kansas City.
Amendment
And
3
yeah.
passes and Missouri voters do overturn the ban on abortion, what does that do to the legislature over the next few years between now and the next time voters could see another question on this topic?
Okay, I'm just muting this because, like, Bill Eigel, we don't need to know his opinion. He's a little bit crazy, okay? But I want to show you guys this. Right now, Kamala Harris is technically leading Missouri. We have 6% of the vote in. And this area of St. Louis County right now is voting Kamala Harris over Trump 65% to 35%, and there's only 19% of the vote in. St. Louis City hasn't reported yet. Okay? And going back to my earlier rant, St. Louis, they get out to vote. Okay? The people there, they really, like, I saw St. Louis's organization for getting people out to vote on the Amendment 3 question, and the amount of organization and passion with the politicians there is on a completely different level than in Kansas City. Like, if we had that amount of fervor in Kansas City as St. Louis has right now, we would have a different voter turnout, you know? And that's one of the things that I hope that Kansas City can change in the future. Is I hope that our elected leaders do more for the party to get the vote out when it's not their election year. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't understand why we have a mayor, Quinton Lucas, who wants a campaign in every state to get out to vote except in Missouri. And that's one thing I'm frustrated in. But look, let's look at the current results right now. Kamala Harris right now, Missouri right now is blue, okay? It's blue, with 6% of the vote in. Kamala Harris is leading Donald Trump by 6 percentage points, 52 to 46%. Going down to the Senate, look at this. Just look. Like I said, upset alert. Lucas Coons right now is leading Josh Hawley by 53% of the vote, by 14,000 votes. And I want you guys to take a notice. St. Louis City still hasn't reported. Okay? Boone County, which holds Columbia, hasn't reported. And the areas around Kansas City hasn't reported. Kansas City proper hasn't reported. Lucas Coons right now is leading by 14,000 votes. Here, let's go to the other results. And look, see, this is why I'm telling you, it's an upset alert. Right now, Crystal Quaid has 100,000 votes compared to Mike Kehoe's 103,000 votes. So that means that right now, Michael Kehoe, with all those votes coming in from St. Louis County, is still leading Crystal Quaid, right? But when we go to the U.S. Senate race, Lucas Coons is beating Josh Hawley by 7%. This is an upset alert. It's an upset alert. Let's see what the media is saying about this. Hold on a second.
And Kelly, give us a lowdown of what's happening there.
Well, the crowd's getting bigger and the crowd's getting louder, and I've got a chance to talk to some of the folks here. A lot of them say they know Josh Hawley, they know his family, they're here to support him. We all know that Josh Hawley has been a very vocal and staunch supporter of former President Donald Trump, and as I was asking some folks what they are hoping to hear from him tonight, they mentioned Trump as often as they mentioned Hawley, hoping that those two will be working together.
Are they going to ask him, how much money he's going to bring in the state, or why he's only brought in $0 to Missouri the last 6 years?
We saw so many commercials flooding the airwaves, so this was a race that has been hard to ignore. But again, people very confident here tonight as we're waiting for results to come in, very early results as you had mentioned, but we'll continue to watch that and bring you the very latest from here. But again, it's a beautiful night here. We are in Ozark, Missouri, near Springfield, and there's actually an outdoor deck off of this coffee shop, and so folks are starting to fill up there as well. So the party's getting bigger and again getting louder. Back to you.
All right, Kelly, thank you. That's really some kind of coffee shop.
It must be.
It must be. All right. We do want to take a look right now at Prashanth Reddy's campaign.
Prashanth Reddy's going to lose. Okay, let's look at more results right now. So more results are getting in. Lucas Kuntz's margin is getting lower, but it's still at 51%. And we have to really look at this. I want everyone to see this, okay? Because this is upset alert, okay? Lucas Kuntz right now is leading Josh Hawley 107,000 to 95,000 votes. When we go to the Missouri governor's race, Mike Kehoe is beating Crystal Quaid 114,000 by 104,000 votes, okay? That means that the Republicans that voted for Mike Kehoe, right now, the people that voted for Mike Kehoe, 19,000 of them didn't vote for Josh Hawley. That is an upset. Thank you, Brian. Handing me treats. So this is an upset alert, okay? Lucas Kuntz, there's a chance. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. It's the beginning of the night. There's only 6.5% of the vote in, but Lucas Kuntz right now is doing better than what people expected him to do or to be doing. Let's look at some other results. Lieutenant governor race. Richard Brown right now is beating the Republican by 14,000 votes, okay? That's kind of crazy. Right now, the Secretary of State, the Democrats are actually winning. Oh my gosh. You guys, look at this. The Attorney General race. Oh, and I just want to say, we might have some guest speakers here, which will be my dog, Poolie, and my cat, Peaches. So if you see any of them running around... Here, hold on a second. Let me see if I can bring... And thank you, Becca. I'm optimistic because I feel it. I feel the momentum in Missouri right now. I feel like we can actually go back and actually win this race. This is my cat, Peaches. Peaches says hi. Actually, Peaches says, I want to, I want to continue hunting. But anyways, this is what Peaches wants. Peaches wants some of my cake, but he's not going to have it. But anyways, you might see another appearance of him because the cake is like by my computer. But anyways, this is an upset alert. Elad Gross is beating Andrew Bailey right now by 7,000 votes, okay? 51 to 47% with 5.6% of the vote in. Like I said before, this is just the beginning of the race. Only 5.6% of the vote is in. And right now, all the Democrats are winning their race except the Mike Kehoe race, which is a red, like it's a flag. That means some of the people that are voting for Mike Kehoe for governor, they're switching their votes for other people on the deck. So they might vote Mike Kehoe for governor, but then might have gone straight down Democratic ballot. But we'll see as time progresses what's going on. But let's go back to the media.
Watch party in Kansas City, Missouri. The Democrat is hoping to be elected to an 11th term representing Missouri's 5th congressional district. His challenger is Jackson County legislator Sean Smith. Smith is a Republican. He's been very outspoken about the massive property tax assessments in Jackson County. Now, he's having a private gathering tonight in Lee's Summit. And Jackson County prosecuting attorney Tracy Chappell and Melissa Johnson are vying for that Jackson County prosecuting attorney position.
You guys, the reason why this is so close right now is like what I said before, is only the Eastern JAC results are actually reporting right now. Kansas City results haven't reported in. So that's why on the Jackson County prosecutor's race, it's a virtual tie, because only the Eastern JAC votes have actually poured in. Melissa Johnson's going to win that race by over 40 to 60,000 votes. That's why I'm saying right now is this is not the time to panic. We just need to let the results trickle in. But from the results that we've seen so far, we might have an upset. But let's continue watching the local media.
Strictly enforce the law, focus more on property crimes. She also plans to do more with deploying resources better to prevent crimes. That's a big part of her platform tonight. We spoke with her about 20 minutes ago, just as the party was getting started. Here's what she had to say.
I'm a bit nervous, a little bit anxious, and I think that's to be expected, but I am finding peace and comfort on how hard we've worked and the message that we have put forth to the voters of Jackson County.
And you can see just how many people are here tonight. Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker is supposed to be here tonight as well. They are excited to watch the votes come in, and they are hopeful that they might have the win here tonight, and they are hopeful that they'll be able to implement that vision that they've outlined for voters. One that will include having more law students from UMKC participate in enforcing the law with supervised attorneys over them to help make the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office able to do more. So we'll see. We've got our eye on the numbers, and we'll have more later on tonight on KMBC 9 News throughout the evening. We're live at downtown. Brian Johnson, KMBC 9 News.
All right, we will talk to you again soon. Thank you, Brian. And this is a live look inside Jackson County Prosecutor, the Republican candidate Tracy Chappell. This is on May.
That's Sharice Davis.
That was Sharice Davis.
Oh my gosh, you
but
guys.
Let's take a look at the Johnson County, Kansas Sheriff while we're at it. This is on the Kansas side, of course.
Go local news, right? Go local news. Go local news. Kansas City news. Let's hop back to KSDK.
6%, almost 57 in Missouri. Let's go through and take a look at the Senate race. Lucas Kunce out to an early lead, up by 41,000 votes. And again, he has St. Louis City totals coming in, 84 to 13, 84 to 14.
84 to 13.
Again, that's early. We expect to see a lot more votes.
St. Louis City, 84 to 13.
Could be true in St. Louis County. 65-32. You see as we go farther away.
If Kansas City had those results, Missouri would be blue.
70 to 28.
Period. Period.
That's about what we've
84 to 13.
Cole County 58. Josh Hawley, very early. We're going to see more votes in Cole County. Lucas Kunce 39%. Let's go back out to the totals here. Again, we're a long way off here, but I want to hear from our panel in a moment about how much of an upset would it be if Lucas Kunce could somehow pull off the victory. And Jeff Smith, I'll throw the question to you because
I'm telling you, you guys,
campaign, Lucas Kunce did without the help of the Senate Democrats. Dick Durbin said, "Look, I wish you well. Good luck. Go out there and fight like heck."
I'm telling you, it's upset. It's upset. It's an upset alert.
Pull this off without the party apparatus behind him.
It's an upset alert.
Look, it would be the biggest upset of any U.S. Senate race in the country this year if he wins. I mean, so far people have looked at the Nebraska race as a huge potential upset because that's a pretty red state, but that's gotten some publicity and been on the national radar screen the last few weeks. If Kunce were to win, which I think is unlikely, but if he would, it would be the biggest upset of the
upset alert.
Yeah, and we're looking at the math. I mean, St. Louis City and St. Louis County, that's some of the most populated territory in the state. We haven't seen a lot of the lesser populated counties report their results back yet. So there's a long way to go here, Anita. But as you look at this, and analyze that early result, what is the pathway to victory for Lucas Kunce? How does he need to? What is he looking for in turnout and in the map? I mean, does he need to do well in other areas outside of Columbia, Kansas City, and St. Louis?
He does. He can't just win those blue areas. He needs to win them and win them with high turnout and wide margins. He needs to put together that coalition that Claire McCaskill had. So, you know, doing better in counties like Jefferson County, the surrounding Collier counties, and doing better in rural and outlying Missouri. You're not going to win maybe those areas, but to narrow those gaps. And I do think that he's been working the rural areas. When he ran against Trudy Busch Valentine in the primary, he performed better in outstate Missouri than she did. So I think that's his glimmer of hope if he has a chance.
And Lynn Schmidt, we saw during this campaign that Senator Hawley tried to create some distance between himself and some of the less popular abortion restrictions, like no exceptions in case of rape or incest. The senator said, hey, look, I believe in those exceptions there, but he couldn't support the amendment here. How do you see abortion politics influencing this Senate race, if at all?
People will split their ticket when it comes to whether they will vote for Senator Hawley or whether they will vote yes on Amendment 3.
And Senator May, I mean,
they're just stumbling over the words right now. We're on official upset alert, because like I said, let's go back to right now the other results. Like these are the live like it automatically updates results. So more St. Louis County results are coming in. So this right now, Crystal Quaid is in the lead because of the St. Louis County. They're 84 to 13% Democratic ballot, which is crazy. Think about if Kansas City had those results. Like this is just why I'm just like, oh, man. If we just and I have to preface this, okay? Because I have to first give my flowers. Our Jackson County Democratic Committee Executive Director, his name is Tyler McCall. He is so amazing for the Jackson County Democratic Committee. He has moved mountains to make sure that that the Democratic events are funded, that Democrats are there, that Democrats show up to certain fairs, to have a presence there, to make sure that debates happen, to make sure that promotions happen. And I don't think people give Tyler McCall as much praise as he should have, because he's carrying this Democratic, he's carrying the Democrats on his back right now, which he should, it shouldn't be on his back. It should be like the politicians should be helping him carry this load. But we have to be honest here in Missouri. We get no funding from the National Democratic Party, and the Jackson County Democratic Party basically have to self-fund themselves. But so does St. Louis County. But St. Louis County is able to do this because their political leaders are more invested into ensuring that that people are getting registered and getting out to vote. Like, I've seen this with the abortion action question, and what I mean by this is they would have drives with thousands of people like in their cars, like it was just amazing, and we never had that in Kansas City. But we need that's why when we're electing new leadership, we really need to have a requirement that the leaders that are being elected are going to dedicate themselves to making sure that the voter turnout and like the outreach program for voters in Kansas City, that they'll participate in that. Because right now only the people know the politicians that are participating in those programs, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. So Mary says that my audio is breaking up on Facebook. I'm sorry, Mary. if it still does, can you transition to Facebook? Because I don't know how to fix that if it is. So I'm sorry about that, Mary. But I'll try to fix that in the future. But if you can, go to my go to my YouTube page or my Twitch page, because the stream should be more smooth there. But yeah, there needs to be more democratic participation with our politicians in the future. Thanks, Mary, and thank you for watching my stream. But anyways, I'm going to go back to the local news to see what they're saying.
Wesley Bell faces between now and 2026.
Well, you saw on primary election night, Congresswoman Bush gave a speech that you would have to really stretch to even call that a concession speech, right? She didn't concede. And I think what he's going to need to do over the course of the next 6 months to a year is to really reach out to the people, the kind of progressive.
If you hear little scratches on my audio, this isn't from me. This is from their feed.
St. Louis City. So he's going to need to, whether it's with staff appointments, whether it's with sponsorship of pieces of legislation, constituent service, just showing up, he's going to need to show Cori Bush supporters that he's going to represent them too and try to be unifying. He's never going to get all of them, but I think it's going to be a lot harder for her to win if she tries again next time than it was when she had the power of incumbency behind her.
And Senator May, real quickly, I'm going to get to another result in just a minute on the other side of your answer to this question. But first, are there 1, 2, or 3 policy ideas, things that you think Wesley Bell can champion to really shore up his Democratic base and energize the Democrats behind him to make sure that his term in Congress isn't just a one-and-done thing?
I definitely have some ideas of policy, because I did run for the U.S. Senate. But I think that his challenge is going to be in being decisive and being a clear decision maker. I think that's what people are going to look for, is that strong leadership.
I'm sorry, they're not really saying anything. Let's see if what's KMBC
later
saying
on this evening when the votes are tallied. Right now, as far as the supporters here, it is being held at the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Meeting Hall here in Kansas City. Of course, Lucas Kunce has the support of many union organizations, so some of his supporters are here tonight. Not much of the party atmosphere that we have seen at other watch parties here but tonight, but don't be fooled. They are in tune with what's happening with this election right now. Of course, we're going to keep it right here. We're staying here throughout the night when we hear from Lucas Kunce at the end of the night. Again, that's when he's going to address his supporters later on this evening when the results are tallied. Back to you.
Len Jennings in Kansas City. Len, thanks. The statewide count in Missouri is still early in the process. Missouri Amendment 3, which would legalize abortion access in the Show Me State, just 10% of the vote counted right now. The yeses are out in front. Again, it is early. Missouri Amendment 2, which would legalize sports betting in the Show Me State, just 11% of the vote in, and as you can see, it is close there as well.
Taking a look at the Jackson County prosecutor race, Melissa Johnson has 52% of the vote, and the Republican.
I'm telling you guys, this is because the Kansas City results haven't come in yet. So the lead is going to increase because at least 100,000 votes haven't been tallied from Kansas City, and it's more than 100,000 votes. But let's keep on watching.
Kansas right now, one of the big races that we're watching over there is the Kansas 3rd District congressional race.
And Democrat incumbent Sharice Davids is hoping to in the House of Representatives, and this is a.
Sharice is gonna be fine. I don't know why they're saying her seat was in trouble, because it really wasn't. Let's go back to the results, okay? Because local news is not really doing a great job with coverage right now. So 12% of the vote has been tallied in Missouri. Lucas Kunce right now is ahead with 52.7% of the vote. Josh Hawley is trailing by 55%. And now, sorry, it's updated. We have 18.5% in. Lucas Kunce is ahead by almost 80,000 votes. These are the St. Louis tallies that are coming in. And like I said before, St. Louis City is still not over. They still haven't presented all of their votes yet. So we're going, and Kansas City hasn't, and Columbia hasn't. But all the other counties in Missouri haven't either. So we need to be cognizant of that, because after Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbia, and Springfield reports, then that's going to be that's going to be the majority of the Democratic votes in our state, unfortunately, and we'll just have to see what happens from there. But right now, Lucas Kunce has nearly an 80,000 vote lead on top of Josh Hawley. And then we go to the Crystal Quade vote, and Crystal Quade right now has a 40,000 vote lead compared to Mike Keogh. Richard Brown is leading David Wassinger in the Missouri Lieutenant Governor race by around 20,000 votes. Basically, all the Democratic leadership is winning right now in Missouri, because we are starting to see St. Louis County. And this is kind of crazy here. Hold on a minute. You see on the map, they still have Missouri as red, even though right now Harris is technically winning Missouri right now. But it, you know, it is what it is. Actually, let's look at the national map really quickly. What's
Those
going
are
on?
districts to watch that could end up becoming
Pennsylvania is going blue.
Let's see, what should we do here? We're watching North Carolina. We're watching Georgia. Let's take a look at our.
If Harris wins Pennsylvania, I'm going to be fine.
Right now in Georgia,
I'm going to be fine.
Donald Trump extending his lead. There's only 25%
exactly,
of the vote
Mary.
left to count there. He's up by 200,000
We need.
votes.
We need. Hold on a
closer
second.
than that 4 years ago when Joe Biden won that state by a much smaller margin. So right now, Kamala Harris has some real work to do if she wants to make Georgia competitive.
All the
work
prayers
already
as
done, of
possible
course,
for
but this is just
Missouri.
coming down to counting
Okay,
the ballots. The
I
polls are
love
closed
my
in Georgia. The
Missourians.
same is true in
I
Michigan,
love
where
my
12% of the vote is in. She's
Missourians,
got a much
but
smaller lead, a significantly
we need
smaller
all the
lead there.
prayers we can
North
get right
Carolina,
now
again, we
to
told you
have a
earlier tonight,
Democratic
North
win,
Carolina was
at least a
key to a
statewide
Kamala
win in
Harris
Missouri.
insurance policy, a plan B, if you will. If she was going to lose a state in the blue wall, she'd almost have to have North Carolina to have a chance at winning. Right now, more than half of the vote counted, and she's down by almost 100,000 votes. The one ray of sunshine for the Kamala Harris campaign, if you will, right now. Oh, and look, that number just changed to 117,000 votes. But look in Pennsylvania, a quarter of the vote in. We expect the count
Honestly,
to
I
take a
don't think
while.
we
The
were
state
ever
law
going
there
to win North
binds the hands of the
Carolina.
election
Like,
workers to
I
start
honestly,
preparing and counting
like,
those mail ballots
if you
until
know the history
today.
of North
So they
Carolina,
just got
I don't
started. That's a
understand
lot
why
of
we always
manpower
say
just
North Carolina
sliding
is a
these
swing
papers into
vote, or
tabulators.
is a swing state,
So we could be
when North
watching that
Carolina
count for a
has some of
while.
the most
We're gonna check in with
racist
Anita Mannion.
history
Let's go over this
when
way.
it comes
She's been watching some of
to,
these results,
you know, against,
coming in tonight.
you know,
Anita,
white
so
versus
far, as you
black
look at it,
relations.
what's the thing that surprises you most right now, if
And
anything?
that,
Yeah, I
if
think
we're
that,
going to keep it
in some of
honest,
these states
you
like
know,
Georgia and North Carolina,
the civil
where
rights
it seemed
movement
like
was
Harris
only
had a
70
better
years
shot
ago.
than Biden this cycle.
So,
it's looking really good for Trump, and so that narrows the path.
a loss
that
in North
Harris would
Carolina
have
is
to
not a big
victory if
deal.
That turns out to be true. Also, we saw the abortion initiative defeated in Florida, and so that's the first time since the Dobbs decision that we've seen.
That's
abortion
crazy that
initiative go the way
abortion
of the
was
pro-life
defeated in
other than
Florida.
pro-choice side.
Yeah, 2000 seems so far ago, but what do you make of the evolution of Florida and as a political juggernaut? It's now solidly
It's
in
Trump
Republican
country.
hands.
Yeah, absolutely. So it will be interesting to see tonight if Missouri ends up being more liberal than Florida, because Florida, it looks like, is also defeating legalization of marijuana, which Missouri has done.
Yeah, those are two big issues that are on the ballot. In Florida, we have the
Wow,
big
Florida
question,
is
sports betting
just-
and
whoa.
abortion on the ballot, along with a couple of others. We haven't even talked about the minimum wage and the paid leave question is on the ballot in Missouri. Jeff Smith, do you have any predictions for us on? We can go check in and actually give you some data. Let's go back and look at that map. real quick,
Florida's
before we get your
crazy, man.
answer to this question. But if we check in and see where do things look in Missouri on Prop A, let's go back here. And right now, 66%, 2/3 of the vote that's in so far, 328,000 Missourians say yes, give us a higher minimum wage. They say yes, give us guaranteed paid sick leave. What do you think?
Probably going to win by more than maybe anything else on the statewide ballot.
160,000 votes ahead. The most progressive question on the ballot by far is Prop A. And we,
Jeff Smith says put
the
that one in the bench. That's a
majority
segue,
of
about
Missouri
banking,
voters are
economic
voting
policy.
for
Senator Bill
this.
Eigel, Josh Hawley
Yet-
is running on something of a different economic
Yet
populist
they're
platform.
also voting
He, in
Republican. This is
2018, opposed
the great
raising
Missouri
the minimum wage.
paradox.
Now, speaking to a conference of conservatives, he said we should have a family wage where a lone breadwinner can make enough for the entire family. And he says he doesn't want to see banks or lenders be able to charge too much here or there. He's kind of evolving, and he's challenging you and other Republicans to adopt his version of economics.
Josh Hawley.
I would certainly agree with Senator Hawley that we want to protect the consumer from being gouged by corporations, whether they're banks or otherwise. But I tell you what, I don't know that I've heard him say that he wants to raise the minimum wage. And quite frankly, that's an incredibly destructive policy because the costs of raising the minimum wage are just passed on.
Okay, we're just gonna mute Bill Eigel again. Let's transition over to the current results, okay? Because like I said, Bill Eigel lives in his own little world that is not based on fact or reality, and I have no idea why he's on that panel. So right now we have 21% of the vote in, and Lucas Kunce right now is beating Josh Hawley. His lead right now is approximately 58,000 votes. And like I said, compare this to the Missouri governor race, where right now Mike Kehoe or Crystal Quade's lead is only 20,000 votes over Mike Kehoe, okay? This is why I'm like, Lucas Kunce, there's an upset alert, and Mary is reminding me about Elad's race. Let's go down. Right now, I mean this, but look, only 10% of the vote is in. So some of these tallies, they're not counting the St. Louis tallies yet. But right now, Elad is beating Andrew Bailey by only 4,000 votes. And I think that that this result right now is just kind of, like, it's only 10%, so we're not counting the St. Louis City votes yet or the Kansas City proper votes yet. But it should be by a wider margin because Andrew Bailey is just such a terrible attorney general. Like, I honestly, I don't know who's worse at his job, Andrew Bailey or Josh Hawley. I would say Andrew Bailey because Andrew Bailey actually kills innocent people compared with Josh Hawley, but they're still just terrible people, man. I should say terrible politicians. Andrew Bailey is actually a terrible person. I'll say that. Josh Hawley is just a ineffective senator with questionable, I mean, I shouldn't say questionable, like I disagree with him on a lot of his positions, but he hasn't done the same amount of crazy, immoral, unethical actions, like to the same degree as Andrew Bailey has. So Andrew Bailey is the worst of the worst. But right now, yes, Mary, it is basically a tie that's going on right now. So, but let's look at the other races. The treasurer race is the Democrat right now is winning 71,000 compared to the Republican Vivek, which has 164,000. And these races are going to be hard because, like I said, they need to have a wide margin coming out of St. Louis City and also out of Kansas City and also out of Columbia in order to defeat the rural voters that are coming out of Missouri, because they're primarily going to vote Republican, probably like 75% to 25%. Now, when we're looking at the amendment questions, right now, the no for Amendment 2 is beating the yes by a mere 5,000 votes. No's right now has it at 252,000, and the yeses have it, or the yes right now is at 247,000. The Amendment 3, the abortion question right now, is winning 271,000 over 175,000. Casino amendment question is also losing in Missouri, 277 to 243. Prop A, as I stated before, is killing it right now. 346,000 to 181. Missouri is a Democratic state. We just don't vote Democratic, and that's what we need to change. And we can have this change if we have better outreach, because right now our outreach isn't as strong as it should be. But we'll get there one day. We'll get there. The Missouri law enforcement pension, this is the Amendment 6 question, is failing, thank God. 323,000 no's to yes. And the ban ranked choice voting amendment is actually yes, is leading yes right now by 65%, which gives me a headache. But like I said, I honestly believe that if this passes, it's going to be challenged in courts and it's going to be found unconstitutional. But look, like I said again, the Jackson County prosecuting attorney race right now is Melissa Johnson with 19,851 votes compared to Tracy Chappelle with 18,555 or 554 votes. Those are the votes coming out of Eastern Jack in the early voting, okay? Those aren't the Kansas City votes at all. And this is troublesome. I actually want to say this is another alert for a potential upset, because this means that in Eastern Jack, total, more people are voting Democratic than they are Republican in this race, right? Tracy's not going to find a lot of votes in the Kansas City proper area as she's going to find the Eastern Jack. And so for her to be competitive, she had to win Eastern Jack by a landslide. But like I said, I honestly believe Melissa is going to win this race by a margin of 40 to 60,000 votes. Oh, and here's one too. Jackson County question 1 right now is leading to 56% to 44%, which is great. I know because of the property tax crisis that we had in 2023, a lot of people in this area weren't that keen of, voting to increase our taxes yet again. But this tax for elderly care, I think, I voted yes for it, even though I understand the argument on both sides, but I think it'll be good for Jackson County as a whole. So if that passes, I'll be happy with that. But let's go back to, let's see where local news is at.
These are very early numbers in terms of the count. What's the mood there like right now?
Well, the mood's great right now. The music is banging out here. Everybody is dancing, having a great time. We just got our first preliminary numbers on Constitutional Amendment 3. 26 of the 3,572 precincts reporting. Yes votes, 56,125. No votes, 20,217. A total votes of 76,342. Again, the yes votes right now are carrying, but this is still so early, and they're about to project these numbers on the screen, and I'm sure when they do, a cheer will arise in this room. These are all proponents of overturning Missouri's nearly total abortion ban right now. Speakers have been coming to the stage, and this group of about 200 people here tonight, some giving their testimonies, doctors, women who have had abortions out of medical emergencies, women who have traveled to different states outside of Missouri to secure an abortion right now. This is a very hotly contested issue. It has been done with a grassroots effort to get this on the ballot. It survived 5 legal challenges to get here, and as the numbers roll in, everybody will be getting a little bit more joyful in this area if these numbers are indicative of where this is heading tonight. We'll stay on this. Back to you.
Krista, thanks so much. Let's take a look at the latest numbers as we have them. Again, early in the count, just 14% of the statewide vote, and the yeses have it, at least up to now. All right, more live pictures as we continue our coverage tonight. This is the watch party for Missouri 5th District Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, and he is at the Lowe's in downtown Kansas City this evening. Of course, the Democrat hoping to win his 11th term in the United States House from the Missouri 5th Congressional District, and his challenger is the Jackson County legislator Sean Smith, a Republican, certainly been very outspoken about the big property tax assessment mess in Jackson County. And of course, we are also tracking the race for prosecutor in Jackson County.
We are, and we want to go to Brian Johnson. And Brian, you talked to Melissa Johnson not long ago, and she was very upbeat about tonight.
Laura, Chris, that's absolutely right. And she's very grateful to supporters. She talked early this evening, she took the stand on the podium saying that she is so thankful to everyone who knocked a door, who answered a phone call, who offered a prayer, and she's hoping to win tonight. You can see a lot of people here, very excited. They got the music up loud. It is a party atmosphere here, and they are hoping for a win tonight. Early results are starting to come in, 1% reporting. She is up by about 1,000 votes, so very, very early, 99% still waiting to be counted.
99%.
She says Jean Peters Baker is going to be here tonight. She feels confident that she is hopefully going to win, she says.
I am as confident as I can be, and the main thing that has me confident is the work that me and my campaign team have put in since day one.
I like Melissa.
And she says she has been able to get her message across to people. She grew up in the urban core. She understands the challenges that people face. She's currently working at the city of Kansas City as the director of public safety. And so she's dialed in, she says, and she has some big plans to change the prosecutor's office and hopefully hire some law students to work under a professional attorney to help expand the resources and the capabilities of the prosecutor's office. She realizes that those property crimes that we've seen all the headlines about, those are a big concern of voters, and she says that might be part of the reason why she's hoping to win tonight. We'll see how the results continue to come in. We're going to be watching them. We'll be.
Oh, we lost him.
Mary says,
sorry about that, Brian.
Sorry, Brian. You know what?
Does the early bird get the win? I wish, but it's like when is the early? You know, we have a long night to go. It's going to be like an hour until we actually know when the results are in Missouri. Becca says, Melissa seems so wonderful. Yes, I've personally known Melissa for around 10 years now, and Melissa has always been a very nice and giving and charitable person. So she's a good person. We'll see how she is as the Jackson County prosecutor, and I'm looking forward to her tenure.
Years and years, taking a look at, this is 2% now of the votes counted, and Melissa Johnson has 52% and Tracy Chappell with 48%. So we'll continue to watch that as the evening progresses. Jumping over to the Kansas side, this is Johnson County Sheriff, and we still are stuck on that less than 1% with Byron Roberson, who is the Prairie Village
it's gonna
Police Chief
become
with
a Democratic
52%
stronghold
of the
in
vote,
future.
and Doug Bedford with 48% of the vote.
Doug Bedford was the one who beat the longtime sheriff in Johnson County, Calvin Hayden. He had that seat for many, many years. It was a bitter primary, to be sure, and here he is with a chance to become the Johnson County, Kansas sheriff. Let's go to KMBC 9's Andy Alcock. And Andy, I think you're in Overland Park, but I'm not sure which campaign you are with at the moment. Please tell us.
Yeah, it's Chris. We are at the Marriott in
today.
Overland Park, and this is essentially the Republican watch party here in this ballroom filled with quite a few people. Doug Bedford.
Okay, we don't need to focus on the sheriff's race.
Thanks so much for joining us on this election night. I'm Kelly Jackson. We'll get back to NBC's coverage in just a moment. First, let's take a look at how some of the local races are shaping up. Let's begin with Missouri's 1st congressional district. Democrat Wesley Bell will head to Washington. He has won with 79% of the vote. He'll replace Cori Bush in January. Moving on to Amendment 3. If this passes, it would put an end to Missouri's near total abortion ban. Right now, the state bans all abortions except in cases of medical
And if you
emergencies
hear
with
the
no exceptions
YouTube
for
audio
rape,
jumping,
rape,
it's
or
because of
incest.
YouTube. It's not
Amendment
because of
3
me.
would legalize abortion access.
But
in
if it's my
Missouri
audio, then that's
until
my
the point
fault.
of fetal viability, which is about 24 weeks. It needs a simple majority to pass. Right now, it is at 55% of the vote, with about 70% reporting. 77% reporting. And in the race for Missouri's governor, the AP has called Mike Kehoe. He was challenging Democrat Crystal Quade. And Holden Kurwicki is with the Quade campaign. Let's start with Laura Barczewski. She is with the Kehoe campaign in Jefferson City.
Kelly, yes, not many people in this room are aware that the Associated Press has officially announced Mike Kehoe as the next governor of Missouri. We are still anxiously awaiting to hear from him and see him. However, I did just talk to Governor Mike Parson. He says he has full faith in Kehoe, and he hopes that he can get some of the things done he couldn't get across the finish line. But I'm going to send it over to Holden Kurwicki now with Crystal Quade's campaign in Springfield, Missouri. Holden.
This is
Well,
really
Laura,
bad because Crystal
Quade
would
just got
be
here
an
to the Teamsters
amazing
Hall in
governor.
Springfield about 10 to 15 minutes ago, and
Hopefully
she
she'll
was met
run
with a
for
round of applause.
congresswoman
That, as you mentioned,
or
though the AP
potentially
has already
senator in the
called this
future.
race,
She
many people in
definitely
this room
has the
were
ability
actually
to.
cheering when they saw some results, which are a little bit dated, that showed Crystal Quade was winning. Now, we're going to continue to monitor the situation, and we'll continue to bring you the latest throughout the evening. For now, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Holden. And in the race for U.S. Senate in Missouri, Republican incumbent Josh Hawley is seeking a second term. He is facing Democrat Lucas Kunce right now. The race is close, with Kunce with 50% of the votes, Hawley with 47% of the votes. That's with 6% of the precincts reporting. Results on KSDK.com, the 5 in your side app. And we're
Let's
also
see,
streaming
man.
live on the 5 Plus app. We'll see you at 10. Now let's send it back to NBC.
Yeah, Mary says Quade ran a good campaign. I'm sorry voters felt she wasn't good enough. Yeah, that's how I felt too. Like, Crystal would have been an amazing governor for Missouri. She actually cared about the everyday citizen. I mean, this is really bad, but look, we're still on upset alert when it comes to Lucas Kunce, because you see this, all the Republicans right now are winning their races. Well, let's see what Eli's doing. Yeah. Even Andrew Bailey is winning his race, right? But Lucas Kunce is still winning his. So we are on upset alert. Look at that. We're on upset alert with Josh Hawley right now. Sports betting's looking like it's going to lose. Amendment 3 is still having a healthy lead of 55% of people voting yes. 67 people voted to ban ranked choice voting, which is crazy. Looks like the Ozark casino is failing, and Prop A is killing it in the state of Missouri. Okay, let's see what's going on over here. Oh, they're all on commercial. Let's go back to the results. Let's see what's going on. So, these results on the 20% that I'm getting from this site, the other results on the television. Oh, let me transition so you know what I'm talking about. The other results on the television, they have higher totals. So this hasn't updated yet. Let me refresh it to see if it's changed. But right now it's stating that Josh Hawley's ahead of Lucas Kunce, but we just saw that Lucas Kunce is still ahead with a margin that's I think it was like 353,000 votes. So we're just going to take that with a grain of salt. But I want to show you here is Jackson County, only 20% has been reported yet. 80% of the vote hasn't been reported yet. So when Jackson County reports and Clay County reports, and those are the areas, Clay and Platte, that has Kansas City within it, you're going to see a massive boost towards the Democratic ticket in the side. Greene County still hasn't reported yet. People who don't know, Crystal Quaid is from Greene County, and so she might actually, if her strategy is to convert Springfield over to blue, she might still have a chance. But as we've seen with the results, even with the St. Louis County, and also I want to show you this too, on this map they still haven't reported the St. Louis City votes, so that's why it's like this, which that's troublesome. That is troublesome, because the television results, like this gap between Hawley and Coons, or Coons might be winning even more. So, like I said, again, there's an upset alert. Hawley might lose his seat. That's actually crazy. Because like we see, Andrew Bailey is reprehensible. Like, he is an immoral attorney general. He literally kills innocent people, and he is beating Elad right now by a wide margin. But Lucas Coons right now is winning the race by a healthy margin. So we'll see. I mean, we'll know within an hour's time what the total Missouri results are. And so we just have to wait. And on this map too, Boone County still hasn't reported yet, which in Boone County, the Democrats are going to get a boost in Boone County. So we still have to see what is going on there. But at least when it comes to Missouri, all hope is not lost in Missouri. And honestly, if Coons pulls this off, if Coons wins, if Coons becomes the next senator of Missouri, he's going to be on national news. Like, it's going to be crazy. So, all we have to do is just wait and see if it happens. But right now, Coons is doing very well in the race. He's keeping a healthy lead ahead of Josh Hawley. And we'll see if he's able to maintain the lead. And as I stated before, if you compare Hawley's results with Mike Kehoe, you can see that there's a good, or the last results that we saw, there's around like 20,000 people who voted for Mike Kehoe but didn't vote for Josh Hawley, which is a red flag. It's a red flag. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next upcoming minutes in this race. Oh, so this has more updated. But like as I said here, right now Lucas Coons is beating Hawley by 50,000 votes, compared with Quaid right now, who's beating Kehoe by 6,000. That's why I'm saying there's an upset alert. There's an upset alert. But let's go back to local news.
Early to call that race. We have some reporters standing by. We're going to get to that in a minute, but let's go right now to what we know in Missouri, a big race. Right now, Donald Trump projected to win in Missouri, but we have a race we can call as well in the governor's race. Mike Kehoe, the lieutenant governor, is now the governor-elect. He will be sworn in as the governor in January of 2025, and we're going to have reaction from Crystal Quaid, reaction from Mike Kehoe, so stay with us as we expect to hear from them. We have Laura Barczewski, I believe, is that right? Laura Barczewski standing by, waiting to give us a report. Laura, what are you hearing?
Mark, so a lot of these people in this room have no idea that Mike Kehoe has been named by the Associated Press as the next governor of Missouri. They've been anxiously awaiting to hear from him, to see him. This room is packed. I just talked with Governor Parson, who says that Kehoe is the best choice. He has always been his number one, and he hopes that actually Kehoe can pick up where he left off with a couple of things like daycare and state funding. That he says that's one thing he.
How much pain does Missouri have to go through? Like, people who know me, I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, but I was raised in Kansas. And so I had to suffer through the Brownback years. And it took Brownback in order to wake Kansas citizens up to how horrifying the Republican Party went to at that point. And so it's like, do we in Missouri need a Brownback in order to take us back blue? Because like I said, Missouri is a democratic state. Like, we vote democratically when we need to, but we don't vote for democratic candidates. Oh my gosh. Anyways, let's continue listening to this.
When you look at this, what do you see in the map for Republicans?
Well, I think this, first of all, congratulations to Mike Kehoe. I think this was expected, and I think that as the night goes on, we're going to see his
Bill is
vote share
jealous.
increase. And, you know, it's a credit to really this. I think this race ultimately was decided on August 6th. We knew that the Republican nominee was going to come out as a heavy favorite, and that's how it's turned out here on election night. Now, I would say for Governor Kehoe, what he is going to be contending with are high expectations.
Quick question. We expect to hear from him in about 5 minutes. What do you want to hear from Mike Kehoe on this stage as he addresses Republicans in the state of Missouri?
I want to hear from him when he goes up on that stage that he is as committed today as he was back on August 6th, that he's going to do the big red things that we've been talking about. They're going to move the state forward, reducing the tax burden, reducing the size of government, protecting our population from whether it's abortion, and moving a conservative agenda.
And Senator Carla May, Mike Kehoe, the now governor-elect, has said he's open to Bill Eigel's idea of getting rid of the state's income tax. Wouldn't do it all at once, but he says he's open to it. What would that do to the state's finances?
Well, you know, we have to unpack it. So we have to understand, you know, what getting rid of the income tax would do to the state budget and would do to the residents of the state of Missouri. So we have to see what.
He wants to get rid of our income tax. Brownback 2.0 alert. Brownback 2.0 alert. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to say anything. Let's just continue listening.
In just a moment, to see what the mood is like, if the news is reaching the campaign for Crystal Quade. In just a moment, as we do, I want to show you this map again. We'll turn on the heat totals. There's a lot of rural counties still waiting to report. But
wants to get rid of our income.
52,000 votes separating the two. Let's check in with Holden on the mic. Holden, you're live. If you can hear me now, you're with us there at the Crystal Quade campaign. How are the voters there receiving this news?
People
if at all? What are you seeing?
Well, Mark, the news is really kind of slowly spread around the room. A few of us were just talking off camera, and some Quade supporters actually heard us, and they haven't called this race yet. We had to inform them that the Associated Press, in fact, actually has. And Crystal Quade, who showed up here maybe about 15, 20 minutes ago, has since left the room. That's why I was just looking around trying to find her. You know, speculation here that she may be possibly calling Mike Kehoe, you know, about this race. But throughout the night, the mood here in the room has been fairly interesting. You know, speaking with some people who came here to support Crystal Quade, they actually told me that this was their first stop of the night. They told me most of them were leaving and going to a separate rally here in Springfield for Amendment 3. Now, again, this is just speaking to voters in the room, but they told me something that people on your panel actually said, that they expected that Republicans would carry most state races, but they thought that Amendment 3 would be the bigger race for them to go and support, and that's why a lot of them are just making a pit stop through here. In fact, for most of the night, maybe the most popular person in the room was the drummer of the band.
Okay, don't do this, KSDK. Like, look, you don't have to ridicule her party. Like, Quade ran a good campaign. She did the best that she could in order to give Missourians a choice, and it didn't pan out. You don't have to ridicule her party for that. Let's see what's going on KNBC.
contested GOP primary. He emerged from that victorious and then continue his campaign into the general election. We do have a speaker up at the podium right now. We are expecting the lieutenant governor to take the stage any moment now to give that acceptance speech to talk about what he wants to do to move Missouri forward. He has campaigned as a traditional Republican candidate. He has all of the traditional Republican endorsements from the FOP to the Missouri Farm Bureau, to even current Governor Mike Parson, who we talked to earlier on this evening, who says he's very excited for Lieutenant Governor Kehoe to take his spot in the governor's mansion. It's one of those things where actually Parson had appointed Kehoe to be lieutenant governor in 2018 after Parson was elevated to the governor's mansion after the resignation of then Governor Eric Greitens. Again, all that happening in 2018. So again, we are expecting any moment to hear from Mike Kehoe himself. His supporters are gathered and people are excited about this result. It was a result that they were expecting. Mike Kehoe was up by about 10 points in all of the polls, so this is certainly an expected result from the campaign as well. And again, it looks like he's going to start taking the stage at any moment now.
A little gratitude. With that, I would like to ask those of you who haven't stood already, who are possible, please stand. I invite Pastor John King, who's going to come up. He's going to lead us in a word of prayer. And after that, come on up, fellas. We're going to introduce you to Wyatt and Will of Double Take, and they are going to lead us in our national anthem. Pastor?
And we'll check back in here a little bit later.
All right, Matt, we will check back with you momentarily because it does sound like the lieutenant governor is fairly close to taking the podium. But first, let's go to Springfield, Missouri, where KMBC 9's Jackson Kurtz has been with the Crystal Quade campaign all evening long. Have you heard from Crystal Quade since Mike Kehoe has been declared the winner of the governor's race?
We did, Laura. We just touched base with her camp. They said more when votes of Amendment 3 get in. Hopefully they were looking for a yes, then she will take the stage. That's something that she ran so heavily on for the race for governor, abortion rights. She wanted to give reproductive freedoms back to women, something that she cared very passionate about, just the background that she had growing up in rural Missouri, all the things that she saw growing up, and being the first graduate from high school, and of course being a grad of Missouri State. But a lot of the supporters here, they really supported her for working class people. They really liked what she had to say about.
Yeah, kudos to that reporter. He's doing his job correctly. He's giving Crystal Quade all the grace that she deserves because she did run a good campaign. Missouri's just not ready yet, and it's going to take a lot more pain for Missourians to reach that step. But let's refresh these results and see what it's currently tracking as. So right now, 30% of the vote has come in, and Josh Hawley right now is leading Lucas Kunce by 18,000 votes. But this is still an election to watch because, like I said, I don't believe Kansas City has voted yet, or the results have come in. Columbia County hasn't come in, and I'm going to look at St. Louis to see the percentage of votes that have come in, but it's not entirely out there yet. So there's still, it's only 30% of the votes have been tallied up. It's not over. But, and this is why it's not over. We're looking at Mike Kehoe, right? He has 528,000 votes, right? So that means that, and this is 30.6% of the vote totals in. So if we're looking at this means that 20,000 Republicans who voted for Mike Kehoe did not vote for Josh Hawley. Look at Crystal Quade. Crystal Quade has 440,000 votes. Lucas Kunce has 470,000 votes. This could lead a person to believe that of the 40,000 voters who did not vote for Josh Hawley, who voted for Mike Kehoe, 30%, which is 75% of them, voted for Lucas Kunce. Okay? Like, that's massive. That's massive. Lucas Kunce might pull this off. He might pull this off. I'm not saying that he's going to, but there's a huge chance that he is, because I'm telling you right now, people who voted for Crystal Quaid, like they were more unlikely to also vote for Josh Hawley when compared to Mike Kehoe and Lucas Kunce. So we need to keep our eye on this. So look again, 35.5% is in, and now Hawley is ahead by 14,000 votes. And the results haven't increased for governor, but let's just keep on going down. So right now the Democrats, see, this is the one that makes me really the saddest the most, is the Elad Gross one. Like, Elad is losing right now with 24.5% of the votes in by over 100,000 votes. Like, it shouldn't be this way, but look at the Kunce race. Like, we might get a senator, which, if everything is said and done, that would still, like, we would win Amendment 3, we would win Prop 8, and we possibly might get a Democratic senator. Like, that might be our result. It's not really the desired result, but that's still a massive win for the Democrats. The thing that makes me sad the most is this constitutional question on banning ranked choice voting, because the way that it was written, as I said before, wasn't written properly. It made it seem like people were voting to not allow non-citizens to vote instead of banning ranked choice voting. So I think it's going to be overturned. Now we go back here again. 20% voting in, 30% voting in. So now the Eastern Jack has actually come into play. So Tracy is leading Melissa 46,000 to 43,000 with 30% of the votes reporting. I believe that this is all that Eastern Jack has. I could be wrong, but I think the 70% that we're waiting on is pure Kansas City. And like I said, Tracy, in order to have any hope of winning this race, had to have a wider margin than what she has here. Because right now she's only leading Melissa by 3,000 votes, and that's not going to be enough. We go here to Jackson County question 1, and it's leading by 54% in Eastern Jack, which is more conservative, meaning that this question is most likely going to pass. I'm going to scroll down to see if they have the Emmanuel Cleaver and Sean Smith race right now. Emmanuel Cleaver, and this is going to be massive. Like I said, I think this is all Eastern Jack. I guess it might be a little bit of Kansas City too, just because of the levels, but 43% of the vote in, Emmanuel Cleaver is beating Sean Smith 58.6% to 38.2%. So he's beating Sean Smith by 30,000 votes. This was expected, but as I stated before, if Sean Smith wins, if Sean Smith is able to beat Emmanuel Cleaver, or not beat, attain 40% of the vote, it's going to be a win. But as I said before, I don't think the Kansas City vote has come in yet, and he might get Jacob Turk's votes. So, I mean percentages, which he was never able to crack the 40%. Sam Graves, right now they declare that it's funny, they declared that Sam Graves is going to be our congressman, but they still haven't declared that Cleaver is going to be our congressman. But let's continue. Ashley Yoon, the Democrat, she's the incumbent. She is winning her House seat, which is very good. William Job. I haven't really talked that much about the other House seats. William Job is the person who's taking over Robbie's House seat, which is District 21. This is his first race, and it seems like, well, there's only 11% of the vote, but he's right now winning the vote by 300, and he is expected to win. In the House District 20 race, this is in Independence. The Clarence Franklin Jr., who's a Democrat right now, is losing to the Republican Mike Steinmeier by 300 votes. 13% of the vote is in, but I urge people to also keep on looking at this race because right now so this district essentially is in the Sugar Creek area of Independence. It's traditionally a more conservative district that's always been held by Republicans, and this is one of the districts that Jackson County is trying to flip to Democrat. And honestly, this is a very close margin right now with just 300 votes separating them. So we have to keep an eye on District 20. Yolanda is killing it in her race. She is beating the Republican by 86%. She's definitely going to win her race. Same thing with Michael Johnson, Emily Weber too. Of course, Patty Manser, Tiffany Price looks like she's going to win her race. Donna Barnes looks like she's going to win her race. Okay, Aaron Crosley. I need to tell you guys about Aaron Crosley because I had the pleasure to meet him during this race. Aaron is such a great guy, and you can tell that his constituents really love him because when I was working out with the United Eastern Dems, so many people would come to our table and just say how much they love the fact that Aaron Crosley is their state rep. So I'm glad that even though it's only 14.5%, we're still early in the race. He's having a healthy lead right now with 2,887 votes over Bruette, who has 2,010. Funny fact, Aaron Crosley's father is J.C. Crosley. And if that name sounds familiar, that is the same Crosley that's running against Kim Strickler out in Lee Summit on the Republican side. So yes, Aaron Crosley's father is a staunch Republican, which Aaron Crosley loves to talk about when he comes to speak at Democratic functions. But if you've never met Aaron Crosley, I urge people to meet him. He's such a great guy, and he's also one of those people that's probably going to run for state senate in the future or for a higher office, and he's just really genuine, so I'm glad that he's doing well in his race. I don't know where House District 30 is. Oh, this is another House seat to look for. House District 31, Ron Fowler versus Jeremy Rowan. This is out in the Blue Springs area, traditionally a Republican-held seat. Jeremy Rowan is a Blue Springs, I mean, they're both Blue Springs residents, but Jeremy Rowan, he owns a karate studio. He's a small businessman, has a lot of popularity out in Blue Springs. I don't know what Ron Fowler does, but look, this race is separated by 75 votes, 13.7% of the vote in. This is going to be a very close race because honestly, Ron Fowler should have a lead by hundreds of votes right now, and it's now a virtual tie. So let's continue. This is interesting. Jeff Coleman, the incumbent, versus Jennifer Cassidy, is winning by 500 votes. Now, I say this is interesting because House District 32 is in a very, 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 very conservative area. That includes areas like Buckner, Sibley, LaVesey, some parts of Green Valley. And Jennifer Cassidy is the president of Green Valley Dems. And so even though only 9.8% of the vote is in right now, if I was Jennifer Cassidy, I would be feeling good about this, because this shows that the areas out in Green Valley, Buckner, LaVessie, they're slowly turning blue, because this race right here should have been a blowout, but now it's pretty close. Even though it says 58 to 41, this is just 500 votes. That's a differential. There's only 10% of the vote that's being reported. So we have to keep that out. But look at this. This is crazy. Kemp Strickler is beating J.C. Crosley, Aaron Crosley's father, right now by 400 votes. Estimated turnout right now is 13%. The reason why this is so interesting is because Kemp Strickler won this seat 2 years ago by 42 votes. And now he might win it again by hundreds of votes, meaning Lee Summit is becoming more Democratic. These are the slow turnings of Jackson County back into the Democratic stronghold that it once was. So this is a positive sign right here. So we have House District 35. Carrie Engel seems like she's going to win it, but we'll see, because only 21% of the vote has been counted, but she has a healthy lead over Michael Green by 800 votes. Anthony Ely, he's going to win this. He's a South Kansas City representative, but right now he has a healthy lead over his Republican challenger by 700 votes. House District 38, I don't know. I don't know where this race is, but that's actually interesting. House District 38, it might flip. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Was this on my list of races to watch? Hold on a second. No, it wasn't. We have an upset alert, people. House District 38. Let me see where this is. Hold on a second. This guy's about to beat an incumbent Republican. Oh my gosh, you guys. Hold on a minute. I'm going to show you something that you guys are going to flip. I mean, if you guys like politics like I do, you guys are going to flip. This is House District 38. It's Liberty, folks. Liberty is about to be represented by a Democratic House of Representative. Or sorry, a state representative. That's massive. That is massive. 89.2% of the vote is in. That is one. Hold on a minute. We gotta get. I need to get a piece of paper. Remember what I said before? We needed 3 House seats to flip. This wasn't even on the list. This wasn't on the list. Now, we definitely have one. We definitely have one. Martin Jacobs is most likely going to win. We'll see at the end of the day, but this 600-point lead with 89.2% of the vote in, I don't know what Chris Lonsdale did in Liberty, but it looks like he's about to lose his seat. That's crazy. That is crazy. Let's continue looking at these results. That's crazy. Patty Lewis, of course, in the Senate race. Patty Lewis. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that with Patty Lewis. Patty Lewis is going to win. I love Patty Lewis. She's a full-on girl boss, and she has a heart of gold. But I'm looking at District 11, the Robbie Sauls versus Joe Nicola race, which right now is like a virtual tie. It's basically separated by around 350 votes right now, and 23.5% of the vote is in. This is going to be a long night for Robbie. It's going to be a long night for Robbie. But we really need that Senate seat to turn dim. But we'll see. This is another upset alert. The Maggie Nuremberg, I'm probably mispronouncing her name. She is winning handedly over Jerry Nolte in State Senate District 17. Okay? Like I said, we only need to pick up 2 Senate seats in order to turn the kill the supermajority in the House right now. And it looks like Maggie is going to be the new state senator. I say this, I understand that only 64.6% of the vote is in, but right now, having a 4,000 vote lead, it does give a hint that she is going to be the new state senator out in that area. And District 17 is essentially North Kansas City, and it encompasses Kansas City North as well. So that's interesting. Let's go back to the local news.
Capitol Bluffs Event Center in Jefferson City. In his acceptance speech, Kehoe talked about a lot of things, but said his first priority when his hand comes off the Bible after being sworn in January will
I'm gonna turn it back to his
relentless against crime in the state of Missouri. He says it's going
time, and I could not have.
Next, KMBC 9 News.
We've visited every county in the state multiple times. We've met and listened to thousands of Missourians. It's been the experience of a lifetime, and I could not have done it without the grace of God, my family, my campaign team, and all of you. First, my wife, Claudia. She's been an incredible partner on this journey. She's been by my side. She's been by my side every step of the way, and is she going to be an amazing First Lady of the state of Missouri? At the end of the day, no candidate can be successful without the support of their family. Our kids, Carol, Michael, Maggie, and Claire, and our son-in-law, Scott. They didn't sign up for this, but they went into overdrive, helping share our campaign message with their friends, and we're always there to support Claudia and me. Thank you to my kids. They've done a wonderful job. I wouldn't be here without my siblings either to help raise me and make me the person I am today. Thank you to my sisters, Kathy and Maureen, who are watching from home, and here with us tonight, my brother John and sister Peggy. Thank you guys so much. I love you. And of course, we have the best team in Missouri politics. Derek Coates led a great campaign along with Gabby, Nick, Jalen, Lucinda, Shannon, Joseph, Jordan, Andrew, Matthew, and Avery. They are rock stars. Thank you so much for what you guys did. 14 years ago when I came into the Senate, I talked a guy into helping me out. He's a Marine intelligence officer, and I know for some of you non-Marines that's an oxymoron. But Adam Gresham's been with me every step of the way.
It's Mike Kehoe, who will be the next governor of the great state of Missouri. Became lieutenant governor in 2018, appointed by Governor Parson, elected to a full term 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, there's Mike Kehoe. Oh, they're going to continue with this.
David's now 70% of the vote has been counted, and she continues to hold a steady lead over the Republican challenger, Dr. Prasanth Reddy.
We go to the Johnson County Sheriff's race now with 50%. Here we go. That's just what I was talking about. We've got that voter dump now. 50% of the vote counted, and Byron Roberson has 51% of that vote, and Doug Bedford with 49%. So
you're going to skip ahead. I've only been looking at Missouri politics, so I have no idea what's going on in the national race. I'm going to check what's going on in the national race after Missouri results are out so I can just brace myself. But from the maps I've been seeing through the Missouri coverage, I am getting nervous, but I hope that after the Missouri races are out, I mean, regardless, I'm just gonna go to sleep and just wait until a couple of days to see the results. But anyways, we'll see what's going on.
For the U.S. Senate, right now the vote total is just over 50% to 46. Lynn Schmidt, what do you make of that margin right there? Some of the polls that the Hawley campaign were resting on had double-digit victories.
Yeah.
We don't know where it will land. Right now, it's closer than that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I do think Lucas did a good job of reaching out to rural voters in all parts of the state, and so you know, I think he had a pretty good message, but again, I think Missouri is just overwhelmingly Republican.
When you look at the remaining, we're going to get to you guys for reaction there. Jeff Smith and Senator May, I want to get your reaction, but when you look at the remaining vote totals that have not yet been reported, you have to assume that these are Republican counties. Now, there aren't as many votes there, but we think that this number is going to improve for Senator Hawley.
Yeah, I mean, so look, when the national stats guys are calling these races, and we only see a 3 or 4 point margin, but they're calling the race with 30, 40, 50% reporting, what we can infer from that is that the counties that have yet to report are going to be pro-Hawley counties, right? So if you look at Missouri, you basically have 4 Democratic counties, 5 or 6 that could swing either way, and then about 100 counties that are red counties, and none of them have a ton of votes, but they add up.
We'll get more of their analysis in just a moment. Let's go right now to the campaign headquarters for Crystal Quaid, where she's addressing her supporters.
We are tired of Missourians having to drive over an hour to access health care. We are tired of our young people leaving our state and fleeing because they are too scared to live here. We have so much to fight for here in Missouri. And today, folks showed up. We didn't get it done, but the number's good. They're not all in yet, but we know that we did better than what we did before. We know Amendment 3 is gonna pass. We are going to show the extremists in Jefferson City that they have gone too far. We didn't win this race, but they know that we are coming for them. It does not stop today. The work continues on tomorrow morning and the day after that and day after that until Missouri is a place that every single person can thrive in, regardless of who they are, where they live, or who they love. This will be a state that we are all proud of. There are so many numbers that are too close to call right now, from our U.S. Senate race to the supermajority in Jefferson City. We have legislative races all over the state and right here in Greene that have not been called yet. The fight is not over. And when we wake up tomorrow, we can be sad for a moment, but then we dig in and we get back to work.
Like I said, Democrats are the people in the dirt that work the soil to make sure that the grass grows, man.
Thank you all so much for everything.
You heard there from Democratic House Minority Leader Crystal Quaid, the Democratic nominee for governor, giving her concession speech saying the fight's not over. News has not yet reached her ear that Senator Josh Hawley has won that race. We'll see the quick read of the map here. Crystal Quaid losing to Mike Kehoe, but in the Senate race we can now call a much larger and growing margin for Josh Hawley. As those vote totals come in, expect that number to continue to climb. Josh Hawley the winner in that race. As we go down and look at some of these issues, let's check in on the Attorney General's race. An even larger gap, but we're not calling this race just yet, but Andrew Bailey, the incumbent appointed by Governor Mike Parson, appears to be in a commanding lead. The race for treasurer, Vivek Malik up over Mark Osmak in the race for treasurer there. Let's look at Prop A. We're switching gears on you quick, Jacob. But
yeah, look at
doing
that.
Great work behind the camera here. 60%. So far, 250,000 more voters voting yes to raise the minimum wage. And you see some of this geographic diversity across the state in rural parts. They're voting for it as well. Let's just pick a county. Pettis County, 50%. That's close. Benton County, 52%. Henry County, 51%. Go to St. Charles, 55%. St. Louis County, whoa, 70% right there. Support even higher in St. Louis City. So you're seeing that geographic divide when we go to the totals. So right now, I'm giving the panel a lot of meat to dig into. Prop A looks like it's in good shape to pass. Amendment 2, sports betting. We haven't seen those totals come in yet quite far, just 30%. So this one's still close. We can't. It's too early to call.
The Proposition A is crazy,
in much
and I'm going to show you
pass.
why that
Amendment
is
3,
crazy.
55% and 154,000 vote totals gap. Let's check it on Amendment 7, and this one would basically ban ranked choice voting and also put that citizenship requirement.
This is going to be overturned.
Almost 500,000 voters more in the yes column than there are in the no column. Okay, let's walk back through all those, starting at sports betting, and let's go to Senator Carla May. What do you make of the fact that sports betting, we'll go back to it on your screen here, just 52 to 48% so far, pretty close race.
It is a close race, you know, so, I mean, this is one of those things that's, you know, up in the air. A lot of people that participate, you know, in that sports betting, a lot of people who are against gambling, it's just up in the air. It's you know, it's
You might call it a coin
we'll
toss.
tackle.
This is
Jeff
called
Smith, why is it so close?
commentary.
Yeah, so I think there's 30 states that have legalized sports betting, and in the overwhelming majority of them, you've seen personal debt go up, you've seen people's credit scores go down, you've seen gambling addiction go up. You know, you've seen a lot of kind of negative ramifications for that, and I think some of that word kind of leaked out, and there wasn't a clear enough link between any benefits from sports betting to things that the normal person who doesn't engage in sports betting would like.
And it's the largest expansion of gambling in the history of Missouri.
All in one fell swoop. Senator
Yes.
Eigel, how does this economic despair that you're seeing influence the political thinking of the parties as they look at ways to connect with voters? People are more willing to place that bet, more willing to take the chance?
Well, I'm looking at the map layout for Amendment 2 here, and there's a lot of rural counties that have not reported results for Amendment 2. In fact, that slim lead right now is primarily coming from the urban areas that are very closely connected with the professional sports teams that have been pushing it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the time we got all the results in for the night that Amendment 2 loses, albeit by a smaller margin than I was expecting. But
And if you look, not to cut you off, but you look at Cole County, close, but you have, you know, traditionally younger voters there. It's failing in Boone County. Younger voters there, failing.
You have in the southwestern areas of Missouri, which are typically more conservative and have conservative traditional values that don't look as favorably upon expansion of gambling. There's a lot of results down there in the southwestern corner of the state that are to be reported for Amendment 2. If I would, for any supporter of Amendment 2 looking at the map right now, I would not be feeling very good right now.
Just a little bit of a dash of sports analysis. Is it any surprise that Jackson County, home of the Chiefs, had the highest? People feel good about their sports in Jackson County. Maybe that's one of the reasons that's the highest vote totals for sports 2, for Amendment 2, the sports betting there. Okay, let's go back out now to Amendment 3. This was one of the most closely watched races really in the country. Will Missouri voters, a very conservative red state, reverse and overturn the state's abortion ban? Right now, 54% say yes. About half the votes have been counted so far, and this is on track. It's heading in the direction to overturn the abortion ban. Senator Carla May, when you look at this map and you see it, you know, expanding out into these other counties, Benton County, 62% say get rid of the ban, 58% in Pettis County. In Boone County, it's 71% at the current count. St. Charles County, 53. What is all this telling you?
Well, you would be amazed at how policy eliminates the D and the R. So, you know, when you're talking about expanding like Medicaid, that was a Republican, Democrat all across the state. This is an issue that sets at home with people in their individual households. So they're making that decision for their families, for their individual circumstances. And so I think that issue eliminates the D
Congratulations
and the R,
to the Prop A vote. And I'm preparing something right now to show everybody about how massive this is.
Seen when you
and why
have these
Missouri is
initiative
not
petitions,
a lost
people come out
cause.
and
We
vote
just,
because
there's a
it
lot of
doesn't have a
education that
UNR.
needs to go
It's
on
a
in our
local
state.
issue, and they're voting for a person.
Still a long way to go. I want to say a very big thank you to every one of our panelists that were here. Anita Manuel, we're going to check in with you here in a little bit as you continue to break in and dive down some of these, dive in and break down some of these results. Words are hard this late at the night. We're watching these results carefully, but again, as we prepare for our 10 o'clock newscast, where you can find us on air, Channel 5, continue to stream us online in the 5+.
Okay, I'm going to show you guys something really quickly. So, this is why I am a firm believer that Missouri is not a lost cause. So this is the Prop A vote. And this map right here is the last time that Missouri actually went Democratic, which was in the Bush, I mean not the Bush, it was the Bill Clinton era. And if you look at the counties that Bill Clinton won, right, and then you look at the same counties that Prop A was successful at, there is a correlation here. And I bet you when the map fills out, it's going to slightly resemble this map here. Meaning that the people that believe in democratic ideals, they're still there in Missouri. We just have a massive education issue. We just have a massive education issue that we need to fix, man, if we're ever going to get Missouri back on the right path. But let's continue looking at the results. Let's see if they're calling the Josh Hawley race with 51% of the vote in. We're still going to monitor this race because I still think that it's pretty close. Because look at this. Mike Kehoe has 920,000 votes, and Josh Hawley only has 868,000. That means that over 60,000 people who voted for Mike Kehoe didn't vote for Josh Hawley. And if we look at Crystal Quade's totals, you see that Lucas Kunce has over 50,000 more voters than Crystal Quade does, right? So a lot of the people that voted for Mike Kehoe but didn't vote for Josh Hawley, you can make the assumption that they voted for Lucas Kunce. So that shows the swing right there, the swing votes. Too bad we just have a long mountain to climb, man. These other Democratic races, it looks like that again, when it comes to the statewide races, we're not going to win any statewide races. Luckily, and this is just for me, I'm not for allowing more gambling to occur than it's already allowed. And so I'm personally glad that I'm sorry, right now it's showing that gambling is actually winning by 52%, so we might get online gambling. Abortion Amendment 3 is winning still by 55% of the vote. The casino amendment question, which is the Osage River Casino vote, is losing by 52% of the vote. Prop A is handedly winning by 803,000 votes. Amendment 6, thank God, or I say thank God, but is losing by it's losing by over 300,000 votes, which I'm glad for. Ranked choice voting, the ban is overwhelmingly being passed, but like I said, it's probably going to be challenged on constitutionality. 70% right now is reporting on the Jackson County prosecutor's race, and right now Melissa is beating Tracy by around 16,000 votes. The more, like usually speaking, in the last prosecutor's race, Jean Peters Baker won by an average of 40,000 votes. So we'll see how much Tracy can do in this race. But it looks like, and it's as expected, Melissa is going to be our next Jackson County prosecutor. Jackson County question 1 looks like it's going to pass too, with reporting 70% of the total in. So we're going to the Missouri District 4. Mark Alford is going to win. That was expected. 66.1% of the vote is in, and Emmanuel Cleaver still has a still has a significant lead. But like I said, if Sean Smith is able to beat Emmanuel by, or not beat, but win over 40% of the vote, that's going to be a win for him, because Jacob Turk has never been able to achieve that. So we need to keep our eye on this race still. Sam Graves is going to win. We already knew that. Oh, this is a big one. Right now, in House District 12, this was one of the critical seats that we might lose in this race. It's Mike Jones versus Jamie Johnson. 93.9% of the vote is in, and it is now Jamie Johnson is losing by 200 votes. So in the 6.1% of the vote left, she has to pick up those votes, or else she's going to be unseated, which is going to be an upset on the Democratic side. House District 13, Sean Pouch looks like he's going to win. That was expected. Amy, I'm going to butcher her last name, but it's like Own. She's going to win District 14 again, which is great. I'm going to skip down. Wick Thomas. If you guys know me, I supported Wick Thomas in his race, and he looks like he's going to be the new state rep for District 19, which I'm excited about. House District 20, 20% of the votes are in, but now there's a wider margin here with the Republican leading Clarence Franklin by nearly 1,000 votes, which is expected in this area because, like I said, this area encompasses like Sugar Creek and a more conservative part of town in the Independence area. But we need races like this because these districts can be turned. So we'll see. We're going to keep on monitoring this race until it's over because only 20% of the vote is in. But that's what it is right now. William Job, the estimations haven't increased yet on his race. Yolanda Young, of course, is going to win her race. Let's go down to the Kim Strickler race. Actually, it still hasn't updated, so we're just going to, I'm going to refresh this page to see if it's still like that. And it is. So we'll just come back to these results later. Oh my gosh. Josh Hawley is giving his victory speech right now, and I don't even want to listen to it. So if you really, oh, yes, and I will, Mary. Mary says, when I talk about districts, it's helpful if I mention the cities. I will next time when I go through the districts. But right now, Josh Hawley's giving his victory speech, and I don't want to listen to it because he's just like such an awful senator for our state, and it is what it is. Like, these results, it is what it is, man. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm looking at these results because they have a higher percentage of the votes that have already come in yet. So I'm going to go back to the list of critical races that we need to win in order to defeat the supermajority in Missouri when it comes to the Democratic side. I'm going to post that list here. I'm trying to figure out the best way to post this so you guys can see. I guess there really isn't a good way to post this. Maybe like this. I know this is terrible, but it's like so I can look at the list and also look at the media in order to compare the list to the actual results that are coming in on this feed. So give me a second. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so going through this list, right now, the most critical race in Jackson County when it comes to the Senate district is, so we've won, like, I'm going to call it right now for Maggie Nuremberg versus Jerry Nolte. She has a significant margin ahead of Jerry Nolte, so I believe that she's going to win. But let's look at Senate District 11, which is Robbie Sauls versus Joe Nicola, and Senate District 15, which is Joe Perrells versus David Gregory. So give me a second. So and Senate District 11 basically encompasses a little bit of Independence, Blue Springs, Green Valley, that area in Jackson County. So it's going to be a very difficult race for Robbie to win. But let's see if we have some results in. And as I said before, the results are still the same, where it's 23.5%. So we're going to have to wait on the critical races. Well, right now, Robbie is losing the race by 400, but we still have 80% of the race left to go. The next race on this list is Senate District 15, which is Joe Perrells versus David Gregory. So hold on a minute. Senate District 15. So Senate District 15 is in Springfield. The Senate district is primarily a Republican district. Oh, I'm sorry. Senate District 15 is actually in St. Louis, and so it encompasses Chesterfield, Baldwin, Ellisville, and Wildwood. So what are the results for Senate District 15? So right now in Senate District 15, here, hold on a second. I'm going to show you this screen really quickly. Oh. So in Senate District 15, it says here 0 out of 181 precincts are reporting, but that's not true. But here it has Joe Perella's losing to David Gregory right now by around 2,000 votes. I don't know how many votes are left to be counted in that district, but that's what it looks like right now in that county. If people know St. Louis, I mean, I personally know that Chesterfield is a very conservative county. It's kind of like the tale of two cities when it comes to that side of St. Louis versus St. Louis City. So this is something that we expected. That it was going to be a hard fight to win this seat. But let's look at the other ones too. So Senate District 17, the Maggie Nuremberg, I've called it. She's going to win this race. Okay, the Shirley Matta. I haven't really talked about House District 17 yet, which I'm going to show you on the map. What it looks like. So this is House District 17, which is basically north of the river, Clay Como area. The person that's going against Bill Allen, which is the current incumbent in this area, is Shirley Matta. And if there was any Democrat that could beat Bill Allen, it would be Shirley. People who don't know Shirley was basically the president of the UAW for years. And then she, right now she's running for the House of Representatives. People know that she's for her community, that she's for the unions. And so let me see if I can find her results here. KCTV5, they don't have her results for some reason. Let me see if I'm able to find it somewhere else. House District 17 results. Okay, so here, I'm going to pull this over. The results, this is the results I'm getting from USA Today, and it states that right now Shirley Mata is losing to Bill Allen by 600 votes in House District 17, with 93% of the vote reporting, which is kind of sad because if there was any Democrat that would have been able to win out in that district, it would have been Shirley. But I don't have the data. Well, actually, let me pull up the data of what the race looked like in 2022. Oh. So, oh, man, let me tell you about this district. I'm sorry, I'm now getting flashback memories, okay? So, there was this attorney named Mark Elbracht, and he's an attorney who works out in Clay County. He's a prosecutor, or he was a prosecutor at the time, and he won, or he was the state rep in this area, and then Bill Allen beat him, and so he flipped a blue seat back to red. And now it's still red, so that's kind of disappointing. If a person was gonna beat Bill Allen, it would have been Shirley, because Shirley had the union connections, she had the community support, but we just have more work to do out there, man. That's all I can say about that, without really knowing that area that well, because as the people who know me know that I know Jackson County very well, but when it comes to counties like Clay County, I don't really understand the dynamics there, like the political organizations there. But I know Shirley, and I know that she's well known in Clay County, so it's kind of sad that she lost that race, or she's most likely going to lose that race. So I'm putting up this banner again. From the vote totals that have already been shown, Kim Strickler in House District 34, which encompasses Lee Summit, looks like he's going to retain his seat. Let's look up House District 96 really quickly. So House District 96 incorporates a part of St. Louis. It has the Crestwood, Sunset Hills area. And it's Leslie Durrington and Brad Kreis. So let me see if I can find their results really quickly. Oh, they just have. Let's just stay on USA Today page. Hold on a second. Yeah, so in this district, the incumbent, which is Brad Kreis, right now there is, I don't know what the total votes that are in, but I believe that this is going to be the most, this is probably incorporates the majority of the votes, but it looks like Brad Kreis is going to keep his seat, and Leslie has lost that race by approximately 800 votes. So let's go to House District 11. Show you where House District, or sorry, not 11, 100 is. It's another St. Louis County, or another area in St. Louis County, and it basically encompasses the city of Baldwin, Winchester. Let's see how that race is going. So this is good news. The incumbent on this race, Philip Oehler-King, looks like he's going to lose this race by a margin of 120 votes. So let me write that down. Because like I said, the Democrats only need to flip 3 seats in the House and 2 seats in the Senate in order to break the supermajority in Missouri. So that's a flipped seat right there. So that's good news, at least. Let's see the next race, which is House District 101, which I'm assuming is also in St. Louis County, but let's look it up. Ben Keithley. This is also in the Chesterfield area of St. Louis County by the airport. Let's see what's going on there. So it looks like Ben Keithley, which is the incumbent, is going to keep his seat against Jacqueline Cotton. And then House District 105, which I'm also assuming is in St. Louis County. Or is in St. Charles County. Okay. So St. Charles County is outside of St. Louis, but this is basically where it is on the map. I mean, just looking at it, it's outside of O'Fallon. This looks like a hard race, but let's see what's going on in St. Charles County. Wow. I don't think the vote totals are all the way in yet in this race, but that's pretty much virtually a tie. There's 229 votes for Wellenkamp and 210 votes for Odenthal, so that still hasn't been decided yet. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. I have Stephanie Hine and Jim Robinette. Hold on a second. Sorry, that's... I misspelled that as House District 136. Which, Stephanie Hine looks like she's going to win that race. But let's look where 136 is really quickly. So Hines was already incumbent in that area. Oh, so that's Springfield. Okay. Man, it's this is a tough night for the Democratic Party. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I mean, there's some races that that we did really well on, and there's some races that it's not looking good for us. We did not win any statewide races. We did not win the Senate race. We won Amendment 3 in Proposition A, which is great. But when we look at the critical races, the Robbie Sauls race and the Joe Nicola race, right now Joe Nicola is in the lead, but Robbie Sauls is within, I believe, a 200-point margin. So we have to wait until more results come out on that race. The Joe Perales and David Gregory race, let me go back to that race. Hold on a second. It is, oh, it's Senate District 15. Give me a second. So this is Missouri Senate District 15. Yeah, it looks like Joe Perales lost that race. Let me see if there's an update on the Robbie Sauls race. Yeah, it's not looking good for Robbie Sauls either. He's losing now by 3,000 votes. So it looks like that Senate District 11 and Senate District 15 are going to stay as Republican. Well, Senate District 11 originally was Democratic, but because of the redistricting and the redrawing of the lines, now Senate District 11 is now a Republican. Is now a Republican seat. So that's really sad because Robbie is a really great candidate. Maggie Nurenburn, which is basically the, like I said, she represents North Kansas City area. It looks like she won her seat, which is really great. Shirley Matta, again, it looks like she lost her seat. Let's look back at, oops. Kemp Strickler. Kemp Strickler is winning his race by a, it looks like a 900-point margin, which is really good because in the last race, Kemp Strickler only won by 42 votes. So this is a good signal to show that Lee Summit is becoming more Democratic. So he's going to keep his seat. The Leslie Durrington race, as I said before, let me look her up again. Yeah, she is not going to beat the incumbent. And yeah, so tonight is a hard night for the Democrats. I'm not going to lie. I mean, at the end of the day, we did get Amendment 3 passed, which is great, but our state is still going to be solidly Republican, and that's just the reality of the entire situation. That's just the reality of everything, man. Sharice Davis, of course, won her race by over 4,000 votes. And yeah. So that looks like the majority of the results on this race. Let me look at the percentage that's reporting. So right now we're still at 45% reporting on this site. Let me look at KCTV5. Oh my gosh, I should even look at this. So Missouri is now reporting 72% of the vote in. And yeah, Josh Hawley is going to win the race because right now he's ahead by over 40,000 votes. So, but I mean, by 170,000 votes. I'm sorry. So that's just how things are, man. It looks like sports betting is going to pass, so it's going to become law in Missouri. Well, there's only 49.1%, so that might change, but it looks like it's going to pass. Abortion rights amendment looks like it's going to pass as well. It looks like Osage is not going to get their casino boat. Minimum wage, we're going to get an increase in minimum wage in Missouri. Amendment 6 has failed. Amendment 7 has passed, but it's most likely going to be contested in the in the courts for its legality. Man, look at this. This is actually crazy. So in the Jackson County prosecuting attorney race, Tracy is only 10,000 votes behind Melissa. That's crazy. And the reason why that's crazy is because Jean won that position in her last election by over 40,000 votes. So that's crazy. Like, this race is way more closer than what it should be. Oh. Wait, here, I'm going to transition to Cleaver.
11th term in the United States House, and he is going back to D.C. having beaten Sean Smith tonight. Now, in Johnson County, Kansas, voters have chosen their...
That was really nothing. Sorry about that. But Cleaver won by 62% of the vote. So Sean Smith might have not even been able to break the 40%, which at least on that note is good. Jackson County question 1 looks like it's going to pass. And yeah. Should I look at the national race? I don't think I should look at the national race. Brian, should I look at the national race? Sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, Brian told me I should look at the national race. This is gonna not be good. Let's look at the national race. Before we look at the national race, I just have to say, again, I still believe in Missouri. I believe that Missouri can go back to a blue state. We just need to put in the work. We need to put in more work than we ever have done before. And we do need help. I wish that there was more money spent on ground game than there are on commercials, because I don't really believe that commercials really translate as a better medium than actually speaking to people face to face. Because Josh Hawley should have never won this election. If the average Missouri voter knew that Josh Hawley brought in $0 to the state of Missouri every year as senator, while his predecessor, who was Roy Blunt, as a Republican senator, brought in $300 to $350 million to the state of Missouri every year, I don't think he would have won his re-election. But it didn't come down to that. It came down to whether he had an R by his name or not. But let's just look at the president race right now. Oh my gosh. Well, this is not good, folks. This is not good. Man, we might even lose Washington. That's crazy. This is not a good night for the Dems, man. Oh, what was the Iowa results? Man. Well, I don't want to say it out loud, but I think people know what this result is going to be. I just say, you guys, you know, just take care of yourselves. At the end of the day, you know, we're still going to be around for another year. And that's all we can do is just put in the work for another year. And that's all we can hope for. But this really hurts, man. This really hurts. I mean, at least Kamala won Michigan. Man. Whew. Anyways, if anybody has any questions for me, please ask them now, or else I'm just going to stop the stream, because I think I covered pretty much everything that's going on right now in the Missouri races, which I had a fun time. This was actually kind of nice for me to view the national race like this, because at least I can see within Jackson County pockets that are improving when it comes to Democratic influences, and pockets that need a lot of help. But man, America needs a lot of help. But I'm seeing no questions, so I'm just going to end my stream now. I hope you guys enjoyed my stream. I wish the results were different than they are, and of course in the next couple of months there's going to be a huge blame game, but at the end of the day, like, this is what it is, and we just have to look at the results, make a game plan, and make sure that we succeed in the long run, because there's a lot of things that need to be changed when it comes to the Democratic Party, which I'm not going to get into now, but our nation needs a lot of help. And when I say our nation needs a lot of help, what I mean is right now in our economy, you know, the average person is struggling in this economy. And I don't put that on the president. I just put that on the way that the American system is operating. But I know that it's, in my opinion, it's going to be infinitely worse under Trump. But it is what it is. So everybody just give yourself some grace. Give yourself some days off media, and then make a game plan, because there's a lot of work that we need to do. If we can get abortion passed in Missouri and Prop A passed by 60%, we can turn Missouri back blue. And I believe that is a realistic goal here. So this just shows that we still have a lot of work to do. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my stream. I hope you guys had a fun time. The results weren't fun to look at, but I had a fun time with you guys covering this race. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Be safe, everyone. Bye-bye.